The following podcast is not intended for those of you who are easily triggered. It features two regular people talking about pop culture and sharing their thoughts on it. If this is too much for you to handle, please report to your nearest safe space. If sarcasm is a foreign policy to you, please. Damn it, I messed that whole thing up. But you know what? This is live, and I'm gonna finish this thing right now. If sarcasm is a foreign language to you, please find a translator. For everyone else, enjoy the show. Or don't. Dun, 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 dun. Laughingstock Nation. That's the terrible theme music. But anyway, I'm Mike from Laughingstock Media. How's it going? And here's Josh from Dragon Ball Nation.
That's me.
I don't even know if the audio is working correctly. It looks like it is. Awesome. So,
The
let's
paranoia sets in.
yeah, let's do this. Look at the chat over here on the left-hand side, which looks like I'm looking straight at you in the eye when I do it. And then, we're going to be talking about some different things here today. Most of which Josh has no idea what I'm talking about, so it's going to be funny to get his reaction. Because Josh doesn't typically like anything superhero related.
She-Hulk's green. Is she Namekian?
Yeah. She-Hulk is going to, summon Purunga, and then he's going to rewrite her show so it isn't terrible. So yeah, that's the thing that is currently going on the what is it? It's currently the thumbnail topic, and then the thing that is being talked about really this week is just how terrible She-Hulk is, because I could tell you it's probably by far the worst thing Marvel has done so far, which I guess I shouldn't be that surprised. I mean, I haven't seen Miss Marvel. I couldn't force myself to watch that, even as much of a sadist as I am. But, like I did watch She Hulk because I do like the Hulk, obviously, and I like, you know, She Hulk, I guess, kind of in the comics, even though she's basically just a tokenized version of the Hulk, just, in female form. But the thing is, in her show, yeah, it's honestly the only real way to put it is that it's cringe. It's really just very cringy, and just almost everything about it is really just cringe. The CGI for her looks terrible. Looks like she's a cartoon character half the time. Um, Additionally, like the writing is just really bad, and it's not even like the thing is like a lot of people I've seen tons of reviews on this show so far, and that's part of one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it, because there have been so many people who have been like, well, maybe we're not the target demographic, but who's the target demographic here? People who like terrible writing and forced in your face politics and all this other stuff that it keeps being put in this show. Like Josh, I know you're never going to watch this show, so basically, you remember the Hulk and how cool, like a badass character he's always been, like the comics and everything?
I remember the '60s cartoon
Yeah.
with the cringe intro.
Yeah, so,
Loved it.
yeah, I remember that too. There was a lot of really cringe or just really
Iron Man was
funny.
bad too.
Yeah. I am Iron Man. It wasn't even like the good version. But, the one that has like the intro that's been stuck in my mind for like the past 20 years is for the Fantastic Four show. And I never liked that show, but the theme song is like just call the four Fantastic Four, and I can't like every time I think of the Fantastic Four I think of that song, and I just hate being alive. But yeah, the She-Hulk so far really could have been much better. She was pretty cool in the 90s cartoon. I mean, it's like she's kind of interesting despite the fact that she's maybe the only female equivalent of a character they've ever done that's actually kind of good. Like Batwoman. Uh,
I
um,
couldn't give two fucks about her.
yeah, but I mean, the thing is, like, she also has always done kind of like in a comedic fashion, which I guess they're kind of trying to do in the show, but it's just terrible. Like it's comedic for the wrong reasons. And so the first episode too, like they do.
Marvel being comedic
Yeah,
and
that never
having
happens.
it be uncalled for, bad timing,
Yeah.
unnecessary jokes. Disney doesn't do that, Mike.
Yeah, Marvel's usually very serious. DC's the one that's always
Well, what's
comedic.
really bad is that other companies do the Marvel formula, and it's just you see a video game, you see in other movies, and it's just the unnecessary quips are in all sorts of media now. It's like trap music. Trap music's in fucking country too. It's ridiculous. Those trap beats,
I mean,
you
the
know,
Transformer sounds.
yeah,
By the
it's just
way,
bad.
everyone, I'm not wearing my Rats Raw shirt this week, so I still don't know how to stop mirroring my screen. So I do have my Nori, Nadime, and whatever Grand Theft Auto is backward posters behind me. Uh, and yeah, I do like Catwoman, a Captain Creeps, great name. That I don't think Catwoman is like a tokenized version of Batman. I mean, she's kind of, I mean, a little bit maybe, but it's like she's a totally different type of character who, they're both into, I don't know, being furries and into BDSM or whatever it is that they do. But yeah, so Hulk, they've kind of like ruined him in the MCU. And essentially, this comes down to a number of different things. The first thing is that after Infinity War, which of course most people will agree is awesome, the Hulk just gets like totally neutered and ruined to where like we see him just like go from being the cool Hulk to suddenly in Endgame he's just like the Professor Hulk who's just Mark Ruffalo talking and just being like, "Hi, I'm the Hulk." The entire time he's like intelligent and he's a lot more boring and we didn't even see that character development or anything happen on screen. So we just have to accept it. And then he barely does anything in Avengers Endgame. He like does the snap and that's it. So he never fights Thanos again. He never gets his redemption. He just doesn't really get to do anything except become like this pussified version of the Hulk, basically. So, like, I mean, Endgame kind of messed up multiple characters. Thor, although you could argue Thor was ruined kind of in Infinity War a little bit, because, like, he goes from being the king of Asgard and this badass who has one eye, and now he doesn't need a hammer anymore, to immediately they have Endgame, and it's like, oh, so Thor, let's put your eye back in, and now let's get you a new hammer. So kind of like completely, and oh yeah, we killed everyone that was an Asgardian because Thanos showed up. So, or two-thirds of them or whatever. So that was another problem, that they kind of like butchered so many of their main characters in Endgame. And Captain America's gone, Iron Man's gone. Until they bring him back from alternate dimensions, parallel universes, which I'm sure they'll do in the future. Maybe they'll bring in Tom Cruise as Iron Man. That'd be interesting. Um, but yeah, like the thing is that yeah, they kind of ruin Hulk, and so in this show, he's ruined even more because he gets She-Hulk like, so her whole origin is totally different in the show. So in She-Hulk's like original comic, she gets like in a mafia hit, or she gets basically like basically ruined, like like in a car crash, something like that, to where she's gonna die and she needs a blood transfusion. The only person who could do it is Bruce. So Bruce gives her a blood transfusion, and because of that, she becomes Hulk. Um, and then in the show, they get in a car crash, and Bruce like bleeds on her, and she just so happens to have a cut on her arm that turns her into the Hulk. And then like at first she seems like she doesn't have any control over it, and she just beats people up in the street. And then like 20 seconds later in the show, she has complete control over it, and she's better than Bruce in literally every single way. She barely has to train. She beats him in pretty much everything. And is like just a total bitch to him the entire time, because despite the fact that he's like one of the smartest people in the world who like is helping her and doing everything he can, she just like acts like she's better than him the entire time. And then she literally sits there in one just the cringiest scenes I've seen in anything comic book related. And she tells Bruce, "Oh, I'm better at controlling my anger than you because I'm a woman, and I get catcalled in the street all the time, and like ignorant men try and mansplain things to me, and like all this shit." And Bruce is literally sitting there going, yeah, that's true." So,
And guess what women have done to me?
yeah,
Far
so
worse. Far worse.
oh god, I mean, this is basically, yeah, Star Wars all over again, where it's
It's like a
like,
Lifetime show. It sounds like.
the thing is too, like, this is the problem too, that they always try and portray it in a way to where it's like, oh, it's men versus women, it's just stupid men on the internet who don't like these things because men don't like to be put in their place and all this stuff. But it's like, there's so many women who feel insulted when they watch this shit too. They're just like, do you have to talk down to everyone like they're stupid the entire time and just shove your politics in people's faces, like, and just literally have the, it's funny because they talk about mansplaining, and she's literally female splaining to him, as I guess you could say. Like, she's like, you're a man, you don't understand, I do, and yeah, like, I'm better than you in every way, and I'm gonna go be a lawyer now. Bye. And
Well, guess
yeah.
what? I'm man spreading right now, as I always do when I sit.
Yeah, so that's the thing, like, it's just frustrating because, like, the politics aren't even the worst part of the show. It's just everything is just so poorly done. But it's just another example of like a big company that doesn't really care about any of these political matters, that's just pandering to people so they can get brownie points from a TV show that like most people aren't even going to watch anyway, because it's not one of the big characters that they actually love in Marvel, like the Hulk.
Eh,
If you give him his own show, people would
eh.
watch that shit. Literally, the only reason I'm watching this show right now is because Daredevil's supposed to be in it, and I'm sure they're going to cut his balls off the second he shows up and make him worse than She-Hulk too. And if you haven't seen that
You
show
know,
yet, Josh, you definitely need to, because Daredevil's amazing.
I've never once seen Marvel Pwn
You never once
or
seen
begin
what?
to pander. And I've never seen a company do such a thing.
Yeah, especially Disney. Disney would never like be massive hypocrites and do incredibly racist and sexist things for like 50 years and then pretend that they're the most virtuous people on the planet and promote that in literally everything they do nowadays. They're
Yeah,
totally
1950s Looney
genuine.
Tunes are quite
Yeah,
quite a
I've seen some
visual
very
spectacle.
interesting Donald Duck cartoons in the past about certain political parties in Europe, and I could tell you that I'm pretty sure Walt wasn't too woke, if that's the terminology we want
Sometimes
to
I
use.
wonder if Disney invented a lot of the racial stereotypes because of how prevalent they really were.
Yeah,
Honestly,
let's just watch some of their classic movies and see how they were totally into equality back then. That's the thing at the end of the day, that is another thing that's always frustrating too, where they frame it in a way in like shows and movies where, it's basically like if you dislike the forced in your face propaganda that they shove into everything now, that you're a racist. But the problem is that you just want to watch something that's like well written and enjoyable, and like a fucking comic book show or movie is supposed to be fun and you're supposed to enjoy it and maybe have emotion for the characters, but instead it's like, why am I listening to some overpriced writer in Hollywood who doesn't know anything about the comics that she's writing a show for preach to me about, how bad of a person I am because happen to be of a certain gender or persuasion. It doesn't make any sense.
it's not made for you. It's made for the fake casual fans
Yeah, that
that
don't watch
came
anything.
on. Well, that came on when the movie started,
Yeah.
right? Granted, I mean, I'm probably someone that has consumed less Marvel as the movies have come out. I never really read the comics much, but I would watch a lot of the cartoons. I would watch a lot of the older films. I mean, even the Fantastic Four, the first two movies of that,
Comics, you say?
of the DC films. But after like this cinematic universe shit, after about probably 2014 or 2013, I would say, it's just I've regressed in my enjoyment of comics and how much I am involved. I mean, I used to play the shit out of Spider-Man games like 24/7. Ultimate Spider-Man used
Yeah.
to be my life.
You like Venom though, right? You said you liked.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, again, there really is a kind of appeal. I've talked about this in videos in Laughingstock Cinema in the past, if anyone wants to check that out. There definitely is the appeal of those early 2000s comic book movies that a lot of today doesn't really have. And it's like, there's a lot of really well written or well made movies. The thing is, with MCU in general, like, most of it I feel like has been on a downward trend since Infinity War, but like, they still put out, a 9 out of 10 movie with No Way Home for me. So, like, they can still do it, but then again, that was made by Sony and had two characters from the pre MCU era of Spider Man, stuff like that, with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. And that appeal was still there. The Willem Dafoe Green Goblin is awesome in that movie. He's like 70 years old and he still holds his own as like the main villain of a movie nowadays, like 20 plus years after the first one. So, like, the way that they made that movie, maybe it's just because Sony was involved and they actually, put something good together. I don't really know, but there definitely is a lot of that appeal missing that there used to be in like the current slate of movies that we have.
Right. I just want to read this one message from the chat from
Oh, okay.
Alex. Could you bring some women into the circle on the show? Get a woman's perspective on She-Hulk.
If they didn't run
Mike, what do
away
you have to say
screaming
about
from
that?
me, if they didn't run away screaming from me every single time I talked to them, then maybe I would have one on the show. But yeah.
We used to be in contact with a few female YouTubers. I mean, I don't, I'm not in contact with any at this time. So,
Yeah, I mean there are definitely
I
like
mean, my bedroom door says no girls allowed on it, so that would be kind of irresponsible for me to subject myself to a female's uh, linguistic transaction.
I like that use of terminology there.
Yeah, sound like
Five
a fucking Martian.
5 points. So yeah, in terms of that, I'm fine bringing anyone on as long as they're an interesting person to talk to. Male, female,
Why am
cat.
I here?
I don't know. I feel sorry for you because you haven't uploaded in 10 years. Oh, wait a second. You did upload at one
I
point.
uploaded like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm fine working with anyone. If somebody wants to be on my channel, just send me like your channel. Like, just let me like. Well, then again, I have filters and YouTube filters out links. So yeah, I'll figure it out. If I find a channel that I like or I find interesting or somebody recommends a channel to me and I kind of feel like maybe I would be able to have a cool conversation, I'll do it. I don't really care if they're male, female, cat, dog. I mean, that'd be awesome to talk to a cat or dog. I mean,
No fucking camels. I don't want any fucking
yeah,
camels.
not Joe
They can go,
Camel. That
they can go fuck themselves.
yeah, I hate Joe Camel and his line of work. But yeah, in terms of that, sure, why not? I'll bring whoever on. Now let's see. Who else said something? I thought you mentioned you spoke to women who had negative thoughts on She-Hulk. Oh no, I didn't speak to any of them personally. I watched a lot of channels with female perspectives, I guess you could say, on some of these things, and like I think one of them I saw a while back was Midnight's Edge talking about Anna that Star Wars girl is another channel I've seen in the past talking about it. So like I watch everyone as long as I find their content interesting, but the thing is there's a lot of YouTubers or YouTube content I don't like. So it's like people ask me, oh, what are Dragon Ball channels that you like, Mike? It's like I don't really watch that many. I watched Josh from Dragon Ball Nation, and
I've heard good things about him.
that's why I
I
have
think he's a
him.
son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's why I have According to Josh on here. That's the superior channel with far more consistent and constant uploading. And I know consistency. I used to
Lots
upload.
more views too.
Yeah. So yeah, this show is just not good. And She-Hulk herself. Like they could have made this a lot more interesting. Like in the comics, for example, She-Hulk, like when she transforms, she goes from being this like small girl who just is like not confident at all to being like this badass woman who just like walks around and she like is like a supermodel. Everyone turns around and looks at her when she walks in the room, and like she likes that. She's actually into that. She's the opposite of Bruce Banner, where he hates being the Hulk and doesn't want to be, and she's like, I love this. I want to do this. But then in the show they do the complete opposite, where Bruce is like, oh, I'm fine being the Hulk now. I'm like Professor Hulk, and she's like, I don't want to be the Hulk. I hate it. I don't want to be a superhero. I want to be a lawyer. And it's like, why did you just totally change the character? Probably to push a political narrative, but other than that, why not have her be the actual character that the 10 She-Hulk fans who are going to watch the show would actually want to see? Like one, like the 11 if you include me, I guess. So why not make her like this strong, powerful woman who's actually well written? Like I don't know. Why don't you actually look at movies where that exists, like the Alien franchise, or Terminator, or one of those really well written, strong female characters that isn't just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a woman, like every 2 seconds. Like imagine if like Arnold Schwarzenegger turned to the camera in every movie and was like, oh yeah, I have a cock, and then that was like every single 5 minutes he said that, or like, ugh, women. Like that's basically what they do nowadays, but from the opposite perspective. And when you see it in literally every single show at this point, it's just like nauseating because, like eventually you're like, can I just sit down and enjoy a show and not be
Well,
preached
it's
at? Or,
companies copying bad ideas that work successfully and are financially viable.
yeah.
Um, but people with half a brain understand the issues with it. But most
Yeah,
people
even
don't
I
have half a
understand it.
brain.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you there. But then again, is that conditioning? Let's get political. No, let's not
Don't
right now.
allow yourself to be conditioned.
Yeah,
Don't be
you're
weak-minded.
living. Fuck, where are my sunglasses? I was gonna do a Morpheus thing. You're living in a dream world, Neo.
What if Morpheus was played by Keith David instead?
I mean, that would still be awesome. You're living in a dream world, Neo. I am Keith
I
David.
can only he's played so many voices, but I can only ever hear the Arbiter
Yeah, I mean, I always hear Goliath from.
and Julius from Saints Row, but he's so many characters, it's ridiculous. And he's such a good actor in all his films too. And he has the same voice all the time. It's never different.
Yeah, he's kind of like Morgan Freeman, where he just has that like same voice every time, but
Well,
it
who's
still works.
Patrick Warburton,
Yeah, Patrick
which
Warburton.
he is an amazing, incredible voice, but it's always the same one.
Yeah, he
But
should have
you,
more range like me. Oh, great, Josh froze again. Oh, it's gotta be that Ekbach behind him. You'll probably just have to do whatever you did before to correct that, Josh, because I cannot see nor hear you. But yeah, what were we saying? Yeah, Keith David is awesome. He's great in everything. Yeah, you're still loading. Hold on. Yeah, I like comic She-Hulk too. Garter Trace. That's the thing. That's one of the things that's so frustrating to me as a comic book fan. Like, I've seen the best versions of all of these characters, and like they literally could just copy and paste them into the scripts and make these stories and just like adapt this shit. Like, I guess Josh disappeared. But yeah, like they could just adapt all of this like verbatim if they wanted to, and just make an amazing story. And they just don't do it. Like it's like
yeah,
in
they should.
yeah, I have the Infinity War comic behind me, and I was gonna go get it, but now I'm feeling lazy. And basically, the thing is like they could have just adapted that like for the end of Endgame, just like had Endgame just be the second half of that story. But instead, we get this whole convoluted story of time travel, which, I did like the movie the first time I saw it, but the more I've thought about it since I saw that movie, like I haven't really been compelled to go back and rewatch it many times like Endgame or like Infinity War. And, the thing is that the more I thought about it, it's like, why did you do all these things? Even like the end of Infinity War, like some of the characters that get snapped away, it's like, why did you get rid of Doctor Strange? Like when he's such an important character in the Infinity War comic during the fight against Thanos, and like in Endgame, why did you kill off Thanos in the first 5 minutes instead of just having the whole storyline play out and all the remaining heroes and villains teaming up to fight him instead of like going back in time and all this stuff that you know it's also like Thanos is kind of like inconsistent too in the movies. Like when you really think about it and go back, sometimes like I know that Kevin Feige had this whole like plan, of like, oh, we're gonna have Thanos and Infinity Gauntlet, and that's gonna be the big story, and we're gonna introduce everyone to fight him. Yeah, of course, and we're gonna make tons of money along the way. But when you actually look at like Thanos in Avengers and then Thanos in like Guardians of the Galaxy, there's a clear change there in terms of like appearance, obviously. Like he goes from a costume and CGI. But then like nothing happens with Thanos for multiple movies in that phase, and they fight Ultron for some reason, which is like totally unrelated. And then they have him like show up in a post-credit scene. Oh, I'll do it myself. And then like 10 movies later, he finally shows up. So it's like it almost feels like they barely had a plan with Thanos, and then he's like really different by the time we get him in Infinity War, where instead of being like the one who wants to court death, which he smiles at the end of Avengers, the first one, it's more like, oh, I want to talk about overpopulation and like snap away half the universe, even though he literally has the power to just double all the resources in the universe. I guess that's the reason why he's evil, because he was too stupid to think of that. But like, just when he kills like when he does the snap, there's so many important characters that should have been there. Like, they should have kept Spider-Man alive. They should have kept Doctor Strange alive. Um, there's a lot of stuff they just kind of didn't do correctly when it came to the execution there. And then we get Endgame, and it's like a time travel story, which still has a lot of great moments and can be fun. But
Messy.
yeah, it's a big mess, and like,
Endgame was like the moral arc, which
yeah. I don't know. I
it's
probably
really
like the
fucking good,
ending.
but
I probably like the
it's
ending of Endgame more than the Mora arc, though.
you know what? I actually read the moral arc for the first time recently. I know
Oh, okay.
bits of it.
What do you think?
Um, being able to read it all in one go, I liked it a lot, but there is like about 30% of it that's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a big mess, and there's so many weird dialogue options. It's all in the same span. Like it seemed like there was a big chunk of it that just had less quality and attention put towards the story.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many good ideas. Like honestly, like I don't mind the way it ended either. I really don't. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know what
because
it is.
Goku won.
I really maybe I don't know.
I
I
just,
just think that
yeah.
that giant Ultra Instinct form with him breaking right through that shard, I thought it was just dope. And
Uh,
if they ever did do an anime version, which I don't think they're gonna, honestly,
yeah,
but if
they were
they ever
like totally
did,
ignoring it in the movie.
yeah, if they ever did, I would like them to clean up a lot of those messier bits. Towards, I would say
I just
the
wish, yeah.
if we're gonna say there's 4 acts, I'm not gonna map out the story, but let's just say there's 4 parts, okay? I would say the third chunk of it, the third part was extremely messy. Like I said, about 30% of it. The rest of it I thought was extremely strong, in all honesty, and interesting.
Uh,
And I think reading it as it released, it would have been annoying waiting for certain things.
yeah, the ending was
Um,
so dragged out when you're reading it as it's going on.
exactly, and you can just digest it right now in one go. It's a lot better.
Yeah,
I,
I
I
mean,
I liked a lot of it. So
okay. Yeah, when it comes to it, there definitely is a lot of it I really like too. Like it was my favorite arc of Super up until a point. Like I thought it was dumb at first with like, some of the power scaling and shit like that with like Maris taking out
Moro has really cool abilities though.
yeah. I
Really like legitimately unique and fun abilities that surprise till the end.
I didn't After he like absorbed 7-3 though, I just kind of it was done for me because I
Yeah,
was
and
just
that's
like,
one of
this
those
is
messy
such
bits.
bullshit that it just comes
Yeah.
out of nowhere. It's like it's basically a worse
Yep.
version of Super Boo absorbing people, you know.
And I don't think the
Um,
cell parallels are as bad as everyone seems to point out. I think it's one of those things that, especially with the world of YouTube and being able to analyze this stuff over months,
yeah,
um, as someone like me who is not really a YouTuber anymore, honestly, and was able to just consume this information all at once in the matter of about a day. It was really I didn't have the time to ponder a lot of the what ifs, like what's going on, what's this thing. I just read it as it
yeah.
was honestly probably planned out from the start. They probably didn't make it up as they went. I think that's kind of planned out in advance, but I don't know the process and I don't really do the research these days, to be honest with you. But I,
It'd be nice if we
I
got
think I
behind
have
the
a
scenes on that.
unique perspective from what the rest of the fan base was probably
Oh yeah.
experiencing when it came out.
I mean, I read it as it came out, and
And
I
I
was
don't
doing
like the
YouTube.
manga traditionally, obviously, the super manga.
Yeah, me
The
neither.
Z manga, obviously, but the super manga is very.
All the Z. Oh right, I was turning my screen like as if I, here's all my manga right there. But you can
Where's your hentai?
right over here. No,
It
but
pulls
yeah,
out a 12 terabyte hard drive,
yeah. What was I
which
gonna
would still
say?
be less than I have.
So yeah, the thing with like I just don't like the yeah, I heard you, but I still don't really like the way the Mora arc ended. Like for me, they should just had Vegeta
I get
win and
it.
just like end it quick, like instead of going 20 more chapters with like what happens next with this new bullshit power and then
Yeah,
like
that was
it
still a
felt like
unique
the Super
idea,
17
though.
ending basically.
What was it called? The fission. I can't fucking remember the name.
Oh, it's Force Spirit Fission.
Yeah, which you probably did many videos on.
Well, I think I might have done one. But oh, by the way,
It was a cool idea. I think one of the weird things to me was that Goku knew what it was,
yeah, I mean it's
but
kind of
like he should have just not known. It would have made more sense for the like, because why wouldn't he have used it for other things before? Like, could he have used on Cell
I mean
if
maybe
he
they
he
made it
should
seem
have
like
just
he could
been
beat a
written.
fusion now because he could separate them.
He should have just been written to like not know that though. I think,
No, I
or at
mean
least they should
a
have done
lot of things
something
with
different.
Goku knowing things never make sense because it's like
Yeah,
also another thing that made no sense is how the fuck did Vegeta get so much more powerful doing that training, but Goku doesn't really seem much more powerful than he was on Namek when he shows up to fight Trunks and he was there for longer than Vegeta. Huh.
I got my Myrrh.
Yeah, I've never had that, but I have been in Puerto Rico.
Oh,
It's
it's
pretty
super
nice.
sweet. It's like $9 for the bottle.
Yeah, there was no Z manga. We know Gartrace. He's just being an American dubby right now. But yeah,
Oh yes, yes, my mistake. Let me say the Dragon Ball
No,
manga.
you're saying it wrong. Dragon Boru manga.
Dragon Ball manga. We turn the pages the wrong way.
Yeah, we got to read it from right to left. So
You know how
Shield
long it took me to
Labs.
learn when I was a little kid, going into Barnes and Noble, looking at manga.
You mean hentai?
It took me so long to learn that shit.
You mean Dojin or whatever it's called?
Those dojins, dojinshis or whatever. Yeah, yeah. They don't
Yeah.
sell dojins out here. I don't think.
So
I
Shield.
should open a dojin store in the small town I live in. I'm sure all the farmers, because I live in a small farming town. I'm sure that all these farm hands will love the hentai that I'm supplying.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's better
Um,
than all the. I can't even say.
it's called Hand Josh. I'll give you a minute to figure out what that joke means.
I don't want to think about it.
So Shield Labs sent in a super chat for 19.99. Thank you. I appreciate you not sparing that extra penny. But so glad you're back, he says. I've gotten so much value out of your content over the years. Here's some support and value. Well, I do really appreciate anyone who sends in a super chat or anyone who enjoys my content in general because you know, sometimes in the past it seemed like that was very few and far between that people were enjoying some of the videos I put out. But I'm having fun doing this right now, so I appreciate all the support from everyone. And Josh is gonna have extra fun tonight because he's definitely
Where's your beverage, Mike?
right here. I was also,
What is
I'm
that? Water?
consuming liquid. No, I'm consuming liquid, and I was consuming a gas before, a gaseous form of matter that's very heated and was originally a
Sharpies?
solid. Huh?
Sharpies?
Sure. I guess if you
Shield Lab
sniff a
says
Sharpie, it's
that it was $20, but YouTube shaved a penny off, or PayPal. But what
huh.
they don't know is that doesn't YouTube already take a cut of the super chats, or
Oh
do they
yeah, they
not?
take like 40% of my super chats. I mean, I still appreciate it.
Which, to be fair, like the videos I get for using their services and stuff, but this is just tech stuff. Come on.
I
How
do wish that
proprietary
YouTube
is
would
this
give us.
technology?
Yeah, I do wish that YouTube would give us free things though, like when we hit certain milestones.
Oh,
Like
sure,
the
yeah.
fact that I don't get YouTube Premium for free is really annoying because I have like every time I'm watching like just listening to music on my
The
TV while doing
entitlement,
other
Mike.
stuff, here comes like 10 ads, and it's like,
I don't know what you mean because I pay for YouTube Red or Premium. Sorry, I've had it since it came out, so
Josh,
they
YouTube is
always call
supposed
it
to
Red.
give us money. We don't give YouTube money. That's how the thing works. So
Oh,
Susan Wojak, can you please give us free stuff? That'd be nice.
Susan Wachowski.
Let's not get into the Wachowskis right now. They're already gonna be mad enough at me as it is for disliking something that has a
You
female-led
don't like the
character.
last Matrix, though?
Oh my god.
A lot of people like that. A lot.
I don't understand how it was an abomination from the deepest, darkest reaches of hell.
Definitely was on purpose.
It feels like it. I mean, when they sit there and they say, "Oh, by the way, Warner Brothers said that they were going to make the movie without me, so I'm just going to make it, or the video game, so I'm just going to make it here and anyway." It just feels like they were just saying "fuck you" to Warner Brothers and the fans. Because like even just doing that Morpheus movie would have been a million times better than what we ended up getting. Like it was just terrible. Like it felt like. Have you ever seen the second Independence Day?
No, I've never even seen the first one, believe it or not.
Oh wow, that one's actually good. It's like
I heard they're
Armageddon.
both not good.
No, it's like Armageddon, where like it's like a really dumb '90s action movie, but it's entertaining.
You just have to turn your brain off, yeah. I
Yeah,
gotcha. So,
like
like, a lot of Schwarzenegger films.
yeah. Although at least with like Commando, it's like like it's a satire.
It's making fun of itself, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
Commando's fantastic. I know
yeah,
Terminator is not a dumb movie, honestly. Terminator 2 is not. I
yeah.
mean,
Terminator
arguably,
2 is
Terminator 3
literally
really
my.
isn't still.
I mean,
It's
Terminator
not
2 is
the best
literally
movie.
my favorite movie. So, and it has a strong female character in it. What a shock, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing with She-Hulk.
Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold has huge boobs in that movie. But that's the thing with the pecs. But yeah, that's the thing with this show though. Like, so if anyone hasn't seen the show and they've seen my thumbnail, the cringiest thing in the history of Marvel happened in the most recent episode, She-Hulk, which is actually cringier than her explaining to Hulk how
There's a
she.
She-Hulk show?
No, but I wish there wasn't, and it was just Daredevil season 4. But yeah, so
Movie.
She-Hulk. So there's like an episode in this episode, obviously.
An
Uh,
episode in the episode.
there's
In the episode. In this movie. Of the
Episodeception.
show. In this episode.
She-Hulk turns into Inception. It's directed by Christopher Nolan, and it's actually amazing. But no,
What if it was
um,
directed by Christopher Reeves?
it felt like I was watching a shitty CW show where like She-Hulk. There's like a rapper I've never
Cole
heard
Phelps.
of in the show. She's called Megan the Stallion, and I thought she was just a fake character from Marvel because I've never heard of her. She's like a Z-list rapper, I guess. I don't know. She's probably really popular, and I'm just totally out of the loop because I'm a man yelling at clouds. But basically, like, in this episode, they mention her like 57 times in the episode, and then like there's a whole court drama about her with She-Hulk. And then She-Hulk and her just like have a post-credit scene at the end where they're hanging out and having fun, and like, and she's transformed into She-Hulk, and they just randomly start twerking, and like there's rap music playing in the background.
Am I? You know, I might sound like I don't like women right now, and I don't. I'm not. I might sound like I'm not attracted to women. I've never been a twerking fan. I've always found it to be just too aggressively sexual, and it really it makes me look at the woman in a negative light. I don't know why.
I
Maybe I'm too
mean,
old fashioned.
yeah,
Never been a fan
there's
of it.
definitely certain
Never.
dance moves that are trashier than others. I think that
Exactly.
we
That's the
can
word.
all we
Trash.
can all agree. Like there's certain certain things that people could do on the dance floor that can be really gross.
I just think it's yeah, exactly
Yeah.
gross. Like it can be an attractive girl doing it, but I think the action is like kind of gross to just do in front of people. Anyways, I just want to shout out Cole Phelps, uh, just for the name. I don't know if that's his real name. It's very likely because Cole is a common name and the last name Phelps is a common name. But
What is that
Cole
reference to?
Phelps is the main character of the Rockstar Games title L.A. Noire, which is one of the
Yeah.
best games of all time.
If you want Josh to like pop, you just gotta make sure to mention anything
I
Rockstar
think I'm
related.
gonna
Yeah.
come.
Yeah.
Rockstar Games.
But
Hey,
yeah, I mean,
they're flawless.
like another thing is too when it comes to like a lot of people also think that like if you're reacting negatively to like the twerking thing, it's because you don't like any sexualization of characters. And I saw somebody post in the chat earlier something about, oh, Tony Stark, he's like a sex addict in the first Iron Man movie, and he's like going out and like getting chicks and stuff like that. And it's like I don't think anyone cares if She-Hulk has sex with people. There's probably tons of people who are really into that. I'm not going to comment on whether or not I am, but either way, the thing is that I mean, I wouldn't swipe. I wouldn't swipe. Is it left when you hit the X on I wouldn't swipe left on She-Hulk. I'll just say that. But either way, what I'm going to say is that I don't care. Like that scene with her going out on a date and stuff might actually be kind of funny, like just like imagining that whole situation. But yeah, I don't care if she's sexualized. It's just that you have She-Hulk in like a super cringy scene twerking with some rapper that most people have never heard of who have read a Marvel comic in their life. And it's like, why the fuck is this a show that somebody literally watched and edited and spent like 1,000 hours doing the CGI that doesn't even look good on her to make this scene happen? And it's terrible. And like nobody at any point during the production thought this is not a good idea. Maybe we should be spending this money on like making a show that's actually good. But yeah, maybe that's a little bit too crazy to say. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
unrealistic.
I have a question for you, Mike.
Okay.
Cole Phelps asked a question.
Okay.
Why does Quaman have San Andreas on the background? I guess I'm Quaman today.
There's so many jokes I could make.
Aww. Alrighty, guys, it is Quaman here today.
Are you still there? Then you must be a
And
big fan of Aquaman.
I'm going to tell you
No, you gotta
that
say,
this
I'm
is
back
not
for another
Quaman.
segment about Dragon Ball Z.
I remember when he did his face reveal, and I made a joking comment that said, "You're black," and boy, did I get called a racist for saying the word black. Apparently, you can't even say the word.
Yeah.
But I knew where he lived. I knew the color of his skin. I could get it just from watching his videos. He didn't make it that. But I just think that's funny how people can get that easily offended that you can't even say the word
Well,
black.
yeah, because
God forbid. What if they say the
yeah,
word white?
that's okay. Mike,
Yeah,
you're white. Ugh. And then that's totally acceptable in our day and age.
you look like spoiled milk, Michael.
Jeez, there must be a hot sauce in that milk. But yeah, I'm almost like tempted to just start playing my guitar in the middle of this because I keep seeing it in my background. I'll play some Iron Maiden. Do my great impression of Bruce Dickinson.
Are we
Round here the hills.
are we gonna
Sounds great, right? But
try to
yeah,
stream the Halos?
um, yeah, maybe. The thing is, I don't know if
if
my
we get bored
computer's gonna be
enough.
able to take it. But
That's
yeah,
what I was thinking too. Like that's pretty intensive to do both.
yeah.
It's
So
actually it's nice on the Xbox. It's built right in. It works perfectly. You can stream like I think on the Series X you can probably stream at 120, but maybe it's probably just 4K 60.
I mean, I have the
That's
PC.
still good considering it's built right in and works like that.
Yeah, I'm PC Master Race, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So it doesn't work.
Yeah, that tends to be the case. I won't be shocked. I haven't played Halo in so long that if I go in there and I try and like boot it up, it probably makes me like
It would be
restart and
cool.
refresh my whole computer.
It would be cool. Like you know how when you're spectating your team, you can swipe through players
Huh?
in a game, right? Like when you're dead or whatever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if there's a streaming service that when there's multiple streamers on one, well, it kind of sounds stupid now that I'm saying it out loud, but it would be cool if you could swipe through different players during a stream, even if they weren't streaming. Let's say that. So it's like maybe a game. It would probably have to be like a game console thing, but they would have it built into the game and the streaming service to where if you want to look at another player in that match, you could flip to them while you're watching that stream. I don't know. It would probably have to be an in-game spectator mode. There's something cool behind them. Maybe I'm.
Wait.
Do you like She-Hulk? Yes or no?
Yeah. I wouldn't
Well,
swipe
I
left on
hit no, and
She-Hulk.
it sounds like I'm in the right side.
Oh, do you mean the show? Yeah, no, that's an abomination from the deepest, darkest depths of hell. But the female herself, I mean, you know,
What other game could I throw in the background for? It's
Harold
really
definitely would like her.
like a background wallpaper. Is pretty much how I'm using this.
So
Well,
yeah, in terms of this show, not very good. However, with that being said, there was one good show that came out recently that I like. It's called House of the
Dragon Ball
Dragon.
GT.
No, Chris Stuckman hates that. I don't know if you've seen his review.
I stopped watching him a long time ago. No reason in particular. I just need to fall off of a YouTuber.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean that
Which
tends to
how often does
happen.
that happen to one of us?
Yeah, nobody's ever fallen off from our videos and stopped watching out of
No,
nowhere.
no, I'm perfect. No flaws.
Yeah, so I did watch. So for anyone who's interested, I guess in my response to Chris Stuckman's response to Dragon Ball GT, um, do I want to know why you're looking so close to the camera right now, Josh?
I'm getting sick of seeing the glare.
Yeah,
I do have contacts. I just never wear them.
I don't wear my glasses very often. You know, I want to look like a nerd. But yeah, so
So I have to review the text.
I did watch Chris Stuckman's video about Dragon Ball GT, and the thing is that I do agree with a number of his points. I don't think Dragon Ball GT is as good as Dragon Ball or Z. What a shock, right? But with that being said, I don't really. Well, I mean, I have ideas as to why maybe he seems to think GT is so much worse than Super, but that's kind of my main takeaway from like a lot of his reviews that, you know, Dragon Ball Z, you know, he goes out of his way to say that the Buu Saga sucked and, you know, I'm going to give it this rating. Then he reviews Dragon Ball Super and he gives it like a point 0.5 less than Dragon Ball Z, which is like, no, it's not even close to that. But, you know, then he reviews Dragon Ball Super, and he's just like, most of the show is bad, and you know there are things I like about it, and the ending's okay, I guess, and you know stuff. And then he's like, the fight scenes all are bad, and you know that basically I didn't enjoy this show at all, and it's like, but you enjoyed Dragon Ball Super almost as much as Dragon Ball and Z, or maybe even more than Dragon Ball, if I'm assuming he's seen it. He never talks about it really. So, like, you know, it kind of makes you wonder how could you possibly enjoy Super this much more than GT when they have almost all the exact same problems, and in some ways, Super has more problems than GT. You know, like, if we're excluding the movies at least, like the show, like, the first two arcs of Super aren't good. The first arc of GT isn't good. You know, they both have character regression or changes out of nowhere. Goku becomes
Battle
a
of Gods arc
kid.
was dog shit in
Yeah,
my
the
opinion.
arcs,
I
the
think
first two
I
arcs are
think
not
that
good.
the transformation scene, like I said in one of my videos, was also. I think it wasn't good. I think it was super overhyped by the community, and that's just my opinion.
Which one, the Super Saiyan God?
Yeah, I think it was super overrated. I don't think it's that good.
Super overrated. Cho overrated. But yeah, yeah, I definitely.
Animation was good in that arc though,
The thing is that, yeah, oh
especially
god,
episode
especially
5.
episode. There you go. And that's the thing with GT too. GT's animation gets a lot of shit, but it looks great at points. Like it looks
Oh,
better
the
than
music
Super at a lot of points.
is so good in the Japanese.
Yeah, and
The
the
Japanese
music's great.
version of
At
music
least he
sounds great.
mentioned that because he said that. Oh, I hated the GT rap, which I don't disagree with him on
Honestly,
that. But
Super's music is solid. Some parts are really good. You
yeah,
know, the UI Goku theme is one of the best anime songs in my opinion.
yeah.
There's a couple
Goku
songs,
Black's theme is
especially
pretty
later.
good too.
There's like it's pretty solid overall, and there's some real gems in there. So it's a really good soundtrack, I would say. The Z soundtrack's god tier. The Dragon Ball soundtrack is god tier. They're both fantastic. Um, and GT as well. Like it's across the board, so fantastic. And all the movies, like I just sent you the other day, a Dokkan clip.
Yeah,
of
real quick.
They used the soundtrack for the was it the credits for the Cooler movie?
Yeah. So
That's so good. I
real,
wish they would keep that in the game, but it's going to go away after the celebration.
real
It's such
quick.
a
I
good
have to
song.
acknowledge this comment because it's hilarious. Cole Phelps,
Mm-hmm.
your favorite commenter today, he just said,
I've mentioned them twice.
I prefer hardcore feminism over the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I agree with the second one. I do kind of enjoy the first one, even though it's not that great. But the second one is,
Yeah, the
yeah,
first
it's
Amazing Spider-Man
horrible.
I kind of like. I saw it in theaters. I had fun.
The
It's
second
not as
one's
good
pretty
as
horrible.
the other the trilogy, but
I haven't
Sam
seen
Raimi's.
three in a while, but yeah, I mean there are definitely things in three I like, but I never really enjoyed it. It was like X-Men 3. It was like,
I've gotten less critical of things over time. I think that's my issue.
I mean, movies today make some of the worst movies or the weaker movies from back then look like masterpieces. So like, X-Men 3 and Spider-Man 3 are like amazing compared to like Captain Marvel and She-Hulk and whatever else is going on at the time. Shang-Chi was okay, like compared to some of this stuff, but that's another thing too. Like, I listened for like months and months, people trashing like Iron Fist. So Iron Fist obviously isn't very good.
I
I've
haven't
seen
heard
it.
it's good at all.
Yeah, so it's like the weakest of the Netflix
It was
series.
pretty like I don't watch those movies, Mike,
Yeah,
and I saw articles advertised to me about how bad it was. So
yeah.
that's
But
the dislike of that show was
the thing is though
pretty
that
famous.
Iron Fist is actually good compared to She-Hulk. And the thing is, Iron Fist wasn't that bad. Like it was like half the
Right?
show was
That shit's good
decent.
compared to dog shit.
Yeah, exactly. So Iron Fist was actually good compared to this show, and like it also either way, it just isn't. This show just isn't very good. And in terms of other things happening in the MCU right now, there definitely have been decent things. Like I liked Doctor Strange 2. I thought that was pretty good, maybe just because it was a Sam Raimi movie. Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi, as they pronounce it nowadays, was okay. There were some good parts, but again, it was undercut by all the stupid Marvel humor that, like, literally interrupted really important moments, like in scenes, with stupid comedy. Like there was like a really cool flashback important scene from one of the characters, and then it's like they interrupt with like a stewardess being like, "Do you want fish or chicken?" And it's like, I guess we'll get the chicken. Oh, we don't have any chicken. I don't even know if I'm allowed to make a joke about blowing my brains out on YouTube. So, let's keep going there. But yeah, it was
Yeah, you might offend Ernest Hemingway.
or Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah,
Going to
people are gonna get that joke.
I'm gonna go to that circus when I'm in Vegas next week, or technically this week, so that's gonna be cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be in Vegas, everyone. I don't know if I have one or two people there who'd even want to do a meetup, but next week. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll
Maybe you
see
can
how
meet a
that
girl there. I
goes.
can talk about She-Hulk.
Oh come on, they're all prostitutes in Vegas.
Yeah, you got money.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
either
condone
way,
that type of behavior.
no,
Let's be
I
clear,
don't. I
folks.
don't agree with that type of
It's a joke.
transaction.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That's disgusting. If I'm against twerking, do you really think I'd be up for prostitution?
Yeah, unless it's a
Only I
Red
can
Dead
prostitute
Redemption,
my
right?
body, which I do on Tuesdays.
I mean, we're YouTubers. We're used to being prostitutes, but yeah. I mean, what advertisement's gonna play right after I say this? Assuming we don't get demonetized, which I'm shocked the last video didn't. But yeah, the the direction that the MCU is moving, it just seems like it's all over the place, and they don't really have much of a plan. Like they announced some things that are coming up in the next phase with like this main villain that they kind of introduced in Loki, but then even though they had a multiverse movie, it had nothing to do with Loki whatsoever, and it just seems like everything's all over the place. So I don't know what's going on there, and honestly, like you know, it's not like the MCU has always been amazing or anything. It's been, you know, good at a lot of points, great at some points, mediocre at many others, sometimes terrible, like with the Eternals and, Captain Marvel and She Hulk and maybe Iron Man 3 and Thor 2. And maybe, I don't know if I'd say the new Thor was terrible, but there were certain parts of it that were really cringy because it's like,
Is that out?
yeah, it came out like 2 months ago,
I'm
I
such a
think.
fucking I'm basically I live under. I
I noticed.
think I work too much.
Yeah. You over there in the land of Gren. I'm not
Yeah,
going to dox you right now, though. But either way, in terms of
Renville.
the. Yeah, that's how they pronounce it in my neck
It,
of the
it
woods.
and to be fair,
It is funny, I
Ren,
do have a girl that lives in the same state as you, and she does not pronounce it that way. But,
I didn't know there's other girls in the state.
yeah, you scared them all away. So yeah, nonetheless, what I was going to say is that yeah, I'm not really excited for much to come in the MCU moving forward. And I've been a Marvel fan. I mean, hey, I'm wearing a Marvel shirt, people. I've been a Marvel fan since I was a kid, and I've watched all the cartoons, read the comics, everything like that. I wish it was amazing, and same thing with Dragon Ball, same thing with all my franchises that get ruined. Um, but yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder, as I was mentioning, they literally have one of the main characters is dying of cancer, and yet they make jokes constantly throughout the movie. And it's like you go from like an emotional scene of Thor like crying because this person's dying of cancer and he like really makes wants to make sure they don't die. He wants to do everything in his power to prevent that. To let's have funny scene here where Thor is naked, or like let's have scene where that's the thing too. Like they talk all about objectifying women, and Chris Hemsworth in every single movie has his shirt off. He's getting naked, and
Yeah,
like it's a joke. It's fine. Like let's
we got
laugh at
guys
that.
like Henry Cavill on screen.
Yeah, it's a
In
huge double
DC films.
standard. I know, Henry. That's a problem. Henry Cavill's
I
never
mean,
on
I want
screen
to
in any
have
of the
sex
DC
with Henry
films.
Cavill, and I'm straight. That's a
Yeah,
joke, by the way, folks.
yeah. Um, he's really into his Warhammer. There you go. I was gonna say World of
Does he like
Warcraft.
Warhammer? Is that I know he's actually a gamer, which I can respect. He seems like a pretty down to earth dude, but I
Yeah,
don't know a whole lot about him.
it just sucks that he got screwed over playing Superman. He's done it like 2 times, I think, and that's it. Like we still haven't got Man of Steel 2. That's the thing. I'm
Well, didn't
more
he
interested in
couldn't,
seeing DC
so
moving
they're just
forward than
not
I am
bringing him back.
Marvel at this point. I don't. They he
He
wanted.
has the look for Superman, like 100%. Like he's got
Yeah,
the look. Like he's perfect for the role, honestly.
yeah. They just don't do
And his
anything with him.
acting's there's no issue with his acting.
No, he's good in everything. He's good
And
in
like I said, I want to have sex with him.
he's good in what
Again, a
is it?
joke.
Yeah, of course. But he's good in Witcher. He's good in pretty much everything he's in. He was good in
Yeah,
Mission
I didn't.
Impossible.
I didn't like that. I saw 2 episodes of Witcher. I wasn't into it. So, but I'm
The
sure if
first
I
season I
do
didn't really
stuff
care
with it,
for, but the second one gets a little bit better. Well, if you've never read the books, it's pretty good, or played the video games, because the story doesn't line up really at all. I mean, the game's great. 3 from what I've played. I barely
guarded
ever.
trace. All the soccer moms who complained about female characters being sexualized were finger were fingering themselves when they saw Thor naked.
Yes, the
They're
the,
not
the son of
complaining.
Odin's
They're
ass.
usually they're not complaining about that. You're usually complaining about me following them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care at the end of the day. Like the characters can all get naked if they want, whatever. But as long as the story is good, and it usually isn't. And that's the problem nowadays. That's the problem even with the DC movies. Like I'm more interested just to see them do DC well and like actually get that correct because DC's cartoons are always a million times better than the Marvel ones. The comics
Hmm.
were better for a long period of time. Like
Animation was fantastic.
yeah, like all that
I
was
love that
great.
style. I can't
And
remember the name of it, but who the
yeah,
artist is, the
Bruce
director. But
Tim.
yeah,
So yeah,
it's
Batman the animated
iconic. That would be
series
the
10
word.
out of 10, Superman was like a 9 to a 10,
Iconic
Justice League 10
style.
out of 10, like Batman Beyond 10 out of 10,
Yep.
and it's like the movies 5, 6, maybe 8 at the most.
Yeah, I was like, I grew up with those shows. I mean, I was like probably 9 or 10 when I was watching them. I grew up with them alongside Dragon Ball, really. So
Yeah, I love those
in the early
shows
two
and
thousands.
it just
You know,
sucks that the movies have never lived up to that and like the big movie coming out this year I guess for DC is Black Adam and I
the
like I,
word black is in that title.
yeah.
I can't
There was a
approve
whole
of that.
debate I heard that they were going to change his name to just Adam, which would have just been stupid.
Dark
Or
Adam.
actually, they were going to call him Shazadam because he's like the evil Shazam, or like he's Adam but Shazam. So they were literally
Shaded
going to call him
Adam.
Shazadam. It's
Yeah.
like what I'm
Maybe
wearing
they
on
could
my
just
shirt
call
right
him
now.
I mean, geez, I still think it's weird when I like hear the dub for Super and they just call Goku Black. They just say black, 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 black. I'm like, wow,
Hold your fire! This man isn't black.
exactly. Like they didn't really even think that way. They just kind of put
Yeah,
it out,
that's the thing.
which is good. That
Like,
means they kind of just went into it without any pollution in their brain. I
yeah.
guess.
Unfortunately, though, Marvel's actually going crazy with that because they're going to finally bring the X-Men into the MCU. They're not even going to be called the X-Men. They're going to be called the Mutants because X-Men isn't inclusive enough.
Right, men.
Yeah, because they have the word men. It's like Lord of the Rings. I'm surprised they haven't changed in the new Lord of the Rings show the name, like change it from the race of men to the race of people or something. Because like that's basically what they're doing with this. Like they're going to be called the mutants because men. Even though women has the word men in it. Did you think about that when you I don't know change the name unnecessarily because men can also include women in it? You fucking idiots who run the MCU right now.
Cole Phelps as Caucasian Mike.
Is that like Black Frieza? I transform, I
Like
become
seriously, like we've
Caucasian
gotten
Mike.
two characters that have black in it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm surprised they're not calling him Frieza Black. It's kind of like everyone called him Black Goku when he first came out, and they just changed it to like
They
Goku
could just
Black.
called it Frieza, and they could have called the form something that. I mean, it kind of sounds stupid to be honest, but like Golden Frieza was already a stretch for me to
Golden
like.
Frieza.
And I've said it so many times, and you know, used them in video games too many times, and I've gotten used to it. It's just it's normal to me, but Black Frieza is going to take some time to get used to. It seems like a weird. They couldn't have given it something better, like an Ultra Ego Vegeta is another one that sounds weird.
Have you read
You know,
past the Granola arc? Because I haven't read any of the Granola arc. I mean, have you read past the Moro arc? I mean, I haven't read any of the Granola
I
arc
just hear
yet, or
snippets.
yeah, because I keep seeing people talk about Black Frieza, and all I know is he shows up and he has a new form and he's been training or something. I don't.
I think
That's
that's all
the
they said.
extent.
I think
I
that's all they said.
Yeah, I haven't done any like I haven't read any of the new arc. I haven't read the Granola arc.
Well,
I
you're a Dragon Ball fan, so you can't read.
Yeah, that's the thing. I lost my ability to have
That's the
any sort of
stipulation
literacy
there.
when I became a Dragon Ball fan. I turned in my literacy card. That's why I only watch in English, right? With the hope of the
Yeah.
universe, the light in the darkness, nightmare to you.
I just watch it in Japanese and don't follow along.
I used to see with some anime back in the day. I used to just watch it without subtitles when it was airing, like Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Oh, you're a fucking weeb.
Half the show I saw without subtitles. But then again, the vast majority of the things they say are in English. Monster Kado, Ike, Boku no
I'm gonna send you
Tanjora.
to the Shadow Realm, even though the Shadow Realm is a made-up thing for the dub.
Yeah, and the Japanese, I'm going to murder you
They
in the
just strip
English.
kill.
Yeah. And yeah, Garage Race, it
You're
was like the
fucking
X-Women one.
dead. Or remember that early Super Mario translation with Goku killing Frieza? You stupid fuck! Ah!
Yeah. That was one of the things when I for anyone who was wondering, I
But he might as
saw
well say stuff like that because, like, when I was reading the manga, he was saying to Mori, "He's like, you're a real scumbag." I'm like, that's about as bad of a thing as he can call him.
well, the thing is in
Either that or
Japanese
bastard.
a lot of times in Japanese, they actually have swearing. Like Cell, when he gets blasted, he says "oh shit" in Japanese, and that's like
Right?
what they
Yeah,
keep that in the German. But then in
I've
English,
seen
it's
that.
like "oh no" or "what's this?" And then what is it in the new movie? So I saw Superhero again in English just to like compare the
Ingrid,
yeah, in English. And one of the things I noticed was that basically there were certain
demonetized.
swears that were changed in English. So for example, like when Dr. Hedo is about to like, when Free or Cell Max is coming out of his cell or whatever, he says in Japanese, "Oh shit," like, "Oh no, oh shit." But then in the English he's like, "Holy crap," and he like flies away. So like I don't know why they
Um,
tone that down.
that's a that is a American censorship thing, I think, because you're only allowed so many cuss words. Like if they said shit too many times, I think it might be like considered R.
What was the rating in America?
PG-13. So they actually
I
could have
think they
gotten
could
away.
say,
They
yeah,
can get away with like one or two shits and one f bomb, I
yeah, they could
think.
say fuck if they
But
want.
maybe the animation standards are different. I have no idea. It might be different
Yeah,
for animation. I'm
because
really not sure
traditionally in
because
America it's for kids or whatever.
exactly that could be that. And you know what? I think that maybe that's fair enough. I would say.
They did have a lot more swearing though in the Resurrection F and even maybe Battle of Gods dubs though.
Yeah, remember when Frieza called Goku a cunt?
Yeah, shout out to all of the Australian fans out there. I know
Yeah,
it's
Rhoda.
like 10 a.m. there. Yeah, they could have said shit. I don't know why they don't, but there's still there's still things that don't make any. So even in the subtitles, I noticed there are some lines that don't make any sense just because of how they were traditionally translated in English. Like for example, because they always use android for Jinzo Ningen in the English and the Japanese. There is a line that doesn't make any sense where Piccolo says to Gamma, "Oh, I can't sense your energy, so you must either be a robot or an android." So if they had always called them like
Yes,
the
I remember that.
cyborgs or something like that, it would have made sense. But in the English and the Japanese, it's literally the same thing. You must be a robot or a cyborg. But in
Right,
Japanese, when they say Jinzo Ningen, it means artificial human, so it's slightly different
right.
than like a
Well,
cyborg
it
robot.
makes sense that they make the distinction because there is a difference in the series
Yeah.
technically, right? I
But
mean,
like
there's
they should just
robots and
change
there's
the line
actual
in
artificial
English
humans.
totally then and it had to be that's one of the
I didn't
changes
have a
that would have
huge
made
issue with that.
sense.
I didn't have a
Like you
huge
must be a
problem, but
robot or an android. You must be a cyborg or an android.
nah,
They could have
it's
said that
fine.
maybe.
It's fine.
And then all the hardcore subtitle fans would be like, actually, it's cyborg instead of android, so they called him a cyborg or a cyborg. That makes no sense. Debunked, or
They
something
should
like
have
that.
said Jinzo Negan.
They should have kept that
Hey, you must
untranslated.
be one of those Jinzo Negan
Yeah, or when Zamasu went around dropping,
killing machine.
yeah, when Zamasu went around calling everyone a Ningen, they shouldn't have even translated that. Just to see the fallout that would have happened.
Honestly, in the community, that was pretty iconic at the time for the community. Just the amount that they said it in the show, it got memed on so much. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and Subarashi.
Tomorrow, she.
Subarashi!
Ogobida. Jiren.
God, fucking Jiren had such dynamic lines like
He was such an in-depth
and
character. His parents were killed by a nameless villain,
yeah, that
and
was
now he
never
wants
explained.
justice. And he's an asshole. You
he's
know
a
what?
hero
Jiren's a
until he
real
tries to
cocksucker.
he's a hero until he tries to just murder Goku's entire friend group for some reason because he gets mad
Jiren, if
that he
Jiren's such a
got
cool
beat.
character, then why does he suck in like every game he's in?
If Jiren's such a good character, then why don't I remember him until somebody mentions him to me?
Jiren is literally like the worst character in fighters. I'm not kidding.
Jiren
And
is
in
alien
Xenoverse 2, he's
Sasuke, I
horrible
agree.
also.
And Sasuke was already a ripoff of Kurapika. Kurapika was a ripoff of Sasuke the Samurai. And then Sasuke the Samurai was a ripoff of Tom Cruise.
Is that true? Is Jiren and Sasuke pretty similar?
Sasuke is like the generic my family and tribe were killed and now I
I
must,
used,
have
yeah,
a
I used to
dark
watch.
tainted heart type of character. He's just not as good as Kurapika from
Sounds like
Hunter x Hunter.
Anakin.
No, I mean Anakin's mom was killed, but not really his tribe.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's just
most
his dad.
most
Some
most
people, right?
heroes in American culture had like their parents killed. Luke's parents were killed. Anakin's mom was killed. Batman's parents were killed.
Well, especially when that's
Superman's
all he's
blow
got
blew
left.
up.
Yeah.
Moses's family was killed. It goes all the way back to that.
Yeah, well, for Anakin, I mean, it was just him and his mom. That was it for his whole, childhood.
Yeah, I mean, when you
So that
actually
was his
go
only
back and
bonding.
that's one of the things too. Like when you actually go back and rewatch the prequels, if you are medicated enough to do that, um, there is like a much better story to them than most people give it credit for in terms of like Anakin's fall to darkness and everything. Like, it isn't the best handled, but like it's still significantly better than the Star Wars sequels that didn't even have
Yeah.
a plan or a story.
Clutch Main in the chat. Y'all mad over some twerking? When Daredevil show up in episode 6, y'all are gonna be D-riding the show. I'm not gonna watch
Well, yeah,
episode 1
Josh isn't gonna
even.
watch any
So
of it.
I'm
The
not gonna watch any of it.
the thing is, like, again, it comes down to how they execute Daredevil. Like, it's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, for example. I didn't think it was good. I thought it was really just generic and
I've
just
heard really
poorly
mixed
written.
things.
It was just like a shitty fan fiction, basically. Like
Red
they,
Letter Media liked it, right?
yeah, but they liked it because it was like a poorly done, like cheap looking show, and they thought it was funny from that perspective. For me, I just thought it was like a completely
They're
unnecessary
not Star
story,
Wars fans.
and
Let's talk about Rich.
yeah. So
I think I'm gonna come.
So for me, like I didn't really like the show, but there were a couple moments here and there that are really good. Like there's like the fight between Obi-Wan and Vader, and like Obi-Wan beats him, which I don't really, if I don't really like that he beats him. Like I feel like that fight never even should have happened because like that's kind of part of the point. Last time he fought him, he like burnt him alive and like left him and turned him into Vader. And
Yeah,
that's
the
like, oh
high
yeah, we
ground.
had another fight, and also Leia was like a kid who's involved, and she's in like every episode. And then they have this new character Riva, who's just like grown worthy the entire time she's on the screen. Because who the fuck cares about any of these characters? It's Obi-Wan. He should just be in the desert watching Luke, and that's the whole show, and training and becoming a Force Ghost Master and stuff like that. But instead, we had this whole stupid contrived subplot of him going off to rescue Leia, and like some youngling who becomes a I forget what the hell they're called. One of the
A
sisters and
youngling.
brothers who like serves Vader. The arbiters, the apprentice. I forget what they're called. They were in
Oh,
Rebels
but
too, but yeah, they're not as cool as
Halo.
Keith David. But yeah,
The
they
arbiter should play one of the women.
yeah, Keith David should just like be he should break new ground by playing a female character in Star
Keith
Wars.
David should have played Ahsoka from the Clone.
Yeah, I do like Rosario Dawson as that, but then again, it is Rosario
She
Dawson.
is actually one of the main characters in Dying Light 2.
Hmm. I
She's
haven't
really
played
good
either
in
of
the
them.
game.
She's good in basically everything.
It's a good. That's one of my favorite games of all time. I think that game is super underappreciated.
But yeah, I didn't. But there was like that scene where Obi-Wan and Vader fight, and it's like really good. Because like we see like Vader like coming out of the mask, and like Hayden Christensen's actually in the outfit, and he's like, oh, you didn't kill Vader, Anakin Skywalker, I
I
did,
mean,
and
he's
I'm
probably
what
not doing much these
remains.
days,
And
right? So
no, he isn't.
he's probably just doing Comic Con meet and greets.
Yeah. So I did like that movie Jumper he was in though. That was pretty good. Where he can
He's probably
teleport.
doing. Well, he's Hayden Christensen, so he's probably doing Comic Con meet and greets and getting laid. So he's probably all right.
Yeah, so either way, Clutch Man, even if there's like one great scene in the show, or like it still becomes great, like let's say it just suddenly picks up and becomes a 10 out of 10 in every episode, the first three episodes are still going to be terrible, cringy, and I'm never going to want to watch them again. So, like, even if Daredevil shows up and suddenly it becomes amazing like the show was, I'm not gonna like the first 3 episodes. There's literally nothing that's gonna change me liking something that's terrible. Like,
Yeah,
and the thing is too, like even like I'm a Dragon Ball fan. There are things I like that
yeah.
are
No
objectively
reading.
bad. So, like I enjoy certain things that aren't very good. That doesn't really have any impact on my enjoyment factor. Like something can be like it's like Red Letter Media liking Obi-Wan Kenobi because it's not very good and they can enjoy that. Like I can laugh at the room, okay? Like I'm not gonna pretend like everything I enjoy has to be a 10 out of 10 or something, but this show is just like a 3 at the best right now. And just because Daredevil shows up and has a cool fight scene doesn't mean it's gonna suddenly be a good show. It could have one good episode. It's like Book of Boba Fett. They had these awesome Mandalorian episodes in the middle of Book of Boba Fett, but it didn't make Book of Boba Fett a good show. It was just a generic mediocre show about a character who was barely even Boba Fett. So yeah, but yeah, like DC, I don't really have much interest in it. I want to see Joker 2 and Batman 2, and I think that's it. Maybe a Ben Affleck Batman movie would be cool. Especially if they have like Willem Dafoe play the
We're
Joker,
never
that'd be
gonna get
cool.
that. Willem Dafoe is never gonna be the Joker. He's the perfect Joker. He's never gonna be the Joker, but he is the perfect one.
Yeah, it
I've
sucks.
seen videos of him just talking
There's
with a
no,
Joker overlay, like it's a color
yeah,
overlay, and it looks so fucking perfect that it makes no sense why they wouldn't pay him at least $3 trillion to play the Joker,
yeah. Nobody's gonna
and then
mind.
download him into like a deep fake system and just keep him forever.
I mean, nobody likes Jared Leto's Joker, so no one's gonna mind if
Oh,
they replace him with.
I'm a big fan. Let me argue for a second.
There is this
Um,
one channel that is really funny that I watch every now and then. I think it's called The Internet's Janitor, and he just is like he makes all these jokes about Jared Leto and how he loves his Joker, and like it's just really funny. So I don't know if he's
well,
still
Jared Leto's a
around.
fucking psychopath too. He has like this island cult. He's
I
like a
have
whole island
I
that he
have
owns.
heard such
It's like a cult.
allegations in the
Yeah,
past.
it's not an allegation. He advertises it.
Well,
And
in case Jared Leto
Mike,
watches this and decides to
you
sue
could
me,
go
I
there
have
and
heard
vlog
such
it.
hypothetical allegations.
Yeah, 30 seconds from Mars is gonna be
I
Dawson. You know,
don't even remember if I like their music. I probably not.
I'm sure I didn't. I don't listen to that type of. That's like that teenage girl music, from the early 2000s.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're a guy and you listen to that, then hey, I guess you're better than me. I can't do it. I also can't name a single song. And you want to know what? I listened to Fall Out Boy back in the day, so maybe I'm wrong here.
it's okay. I still listen to 3 Days Grace every now and then. So
I was
what
gonna
if
say
you could
something that would get
see?
us demonetized.
What was that song, or what was that video that you sent me a while back?
Hi!
Excuse me,
Hey!
I have to make piss, and then he like starts chugging, and it's like
Oh,
"Animal I Have
yeah,
Become"
yeah,
by
yeah.
3 Days Grace.
Yeah. I can't talk right now.
I'm
I'm
making
making
piss.
this.
I actually have like that water pitcher that he has in the video. Um,
I got one downstairs.
yeah, so it is pretty funny, but yeah, the new Game of
The
Thrones show is
Liberation
pretty
guy
good
says
though.
that we were talking about the Inquisitors, by the way. The stuff.
Yeah, I
Um, I think I was gonna say that to you, but I didn't quite fully realize what we were speaking about
hey, that
because
libertarian
I
guy,
played I
big L or
played
small L?
yeah, I played what's that Star Wars game? Fuck, I can't think. I'm blanking.
Battlefront?
No, it's the newest one, pretty much.
Old
The Dark
Republic?
Souls like one. No,
Oh, Jedi Fallen Order?
yes, it's like one of the best games ever.
I haven't played it yet, but it's been
I
on
think it
my.
got robbed out of Game of the Year. Game of the Year, honestly, it should have been the Game of the Year. It was
I
the
feel
best
like I
game,
bought it on the summer sale, and I just
and
haven't played it
you had
yet.
like the sisters in there. It was great, and I
Yeah,
can't
so
wait for the
like
sequel.
the character in Obi-Wan's basically one of the sisters, but she's just I don't know, she's just poorly
Yeah,
written.
I remember hearing stuff that they had like the Inquisitors in the show.
Yeah, and they're
I
not
just was
what they're
blanking
most of the
because
people in the
I've
show
been
are not well
smoking
cast.
and I've also been drinking, so of course I'm gonna blank a little bit.
Yeah. Like she's just not very well cast or implemented. Leia, I don't know. Like I've heard a lot of mixed things. I'm not quite sure about the casting there either, but it could just come down to the directing and the acting. Um, the guy from Fast and Furious who plays Han is like one of the main inquisitors, and it's like, why would you
Family.
cast him? Yeah, why would you? I mean, you see this tire here? This is literally the Fast and Furious box set. It's a freaking tire, and I own it because I unashamedly enjoy the Fast and Furious movies. Family. I live my life. No, let me do my better Vin Diesel impression. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. But when I'm driving, I don't remember no family.
That Vin Diesel or Sylvester Stallone?
It might as well be the same person now. They both mumble incoherently all of their dialogue, and somehow it still ends up being good. I also enjoy the Riddick movies. I'll say that
Mm.
too. And I've been waiting about 10 years since the last one came out for the next
Both
one.
the Riddick games are fantastic too.
Yeah, like Butcher Bay.
Butcher Bay is better, but they're both great. Butcher Bay is so fucking ahead of its time. It's ridiculous how fucking far ahead it is.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I think I put it in the description. So yeah, I like the new Game of Thrones show. I think that's worth checking out too if you enjoy fantasy stories that are typically well written. The last two seasons of the first show weren't very, but I'm reading the books right now. I got all of them right behind me except for the first one, which I got in my other room. And yeah, I mean I have to stop being a Dragon Ball fan since I'm reading a book, but yeah, I think Josh is frozen again too. Either that or he's doing a great job of being a living statue today. But yeah, it's really good so far. I'm enjoying it, and overall, I would say that it is pretty well written. There's some things I would say that it's not doing the best at right now. Like for example, it does seem like some of it might be a little bit in your face or ham-fisted with its political leanings, but I'm giving it some time in that regard. It's nowhere near as in your face as a lot of other stuff recently. And you're back, Josh. And also, additionally, there are some things that Game of Thrones has always done because they're on TV or they're on like premium TV on HBO, so they're like, let's kind of dial up
Paramount
certain
Plus,
things, yeah. So it's like we don't really need
Disney Plus.
like we don't
Someone should
really need
trademark the
a
word letter plus, the symbol, the letter.
yeah, letter plus. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, like
Very
the
silver.
exactly. But the CGI, or what am I thinking? Yeah, the there was a scene in the first episode of the new Game of Thrones show where they basically show like it's almost like a C-section, but like worse, and they just
I've had
like
two of those.
they literally like show it on screen, and it's disgusting. It's way more graphic than the one in Prometheus. It's much worse in general, but they show that, and that's kind of ridiculous that they showed that. It's like in the first step, it's like the first one or two episodes of The Witcher where they basically show that hysterectomy scene with Yennefer, like where they show like that what they're doing with her, except they're it's even more graphic. So I don't know why they felt the need to shock everyone with that with the first episode. It feels like nobody's really enjoyed that scene. But yeah, like there was also a scene where they're like castrating people in the town square and stuff like that. So like Game of Thrones, sometimes they go a little bit too ridiculous and too far with the graphic violence, and it's not like
They
Kill
just
Bill
don't
where
people
it's
talk about it. It's
entertaining.
social media boosts.
Yeah, um, but like
All I used to hear about was how many dicks and boobs were in the show.
yeah, I mean
Selling point.
that's the thing that so many people watch Game of Thrones because it was like it's like an adult fantasy
Yeah. I
series.
want to
It
see
has
boobs that can go on Pornhub.
yeah, it has sexuality and they say fuck in it, so it's great, but like obviously, for people who actually enjoy fantasy and well-written stories, you're watching it because like, the dialogue and the characters and like all the things that people like made fun of the Star Wars prequels for basically are some of the selling points of like Game of Thrones, like the politics and like all this other stuff. Like they'll have like scenes in Game of Thrones that are people sitting around a table talking about politics for like 25 minutes and like everyone's really into it. But and then it's like in Star Wars, like the Phantom Menace, it's like I am going to table table this idea, and then we're going to vote for a no confidence in Chancellor Valorum, and then nobody likes it. So, in Game of Thrones, it's like a Quentin Tarantino kind of situation almost, where like characters are sitting around just talking about, you know, life and people, and it's really enthralling. So Game of Thrones is good at doing that, and that's kind of like this show too. Like you're more interested in the scheming than like the violence and sex and stuff like that. At least I am, but I guess I'm in the minority when it comes to a lot of things. I like the villain.
Yeah.
He's pretty good so far. He's Doctor Who?
Never seen it.
I don't know
Never
who it
been
is.
interested in Doctor Who, but I know it's popular.
Berserk is better than Game of Thrones. I'm not going to disagree with you on that, Gara Trace, but I've also never seen the entire, or read all Berserk. I've only seen the 97 anime, which I rewatched recently. It's still great. That intro song is pretty weird, though. I don't
Yeah, I
understand what
think it
putting your
goes a little
glasses
bit
on.
like ba 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 ba
Yeah, I
ba.
know you want to play Halo, Josh.
No, I don't want to. I'll just
I don't know, it's
think of a
hot as
theme.
hell in this room, so like I don't know how long I'm gonna be streaming tonight. But I also gotta
You
get
don't have
ready
air
to.
conditioning running?
Nah, it's too loud.
I have mine running. You can't hear it.
It's like right there. I mean,
Yeah, mine's right. Mine's 5 feet in front of me. Not even.
I guess we'll find out momentarily. I'm sure everyone's gonna hate that I put this on. I mean,
Yours
I
is
can even hear
nowhere.
myself
Yours is
think.
way farther than mine is for me.
What?
I can't hear it.
I guess everyone let me know if you can hear my loud air conditioning behind me or to the left of me. I hate that this is mirrored. The 90s anime doesn't do Berserk justice. Yeah, I haven't really read the manga. I just prefer to read manga physically, which is why I don't really read a lot of manga on the
A lot of
computer.
lies.
Also, I get
A
like
lot of
a
lies.
headache like every single day. So like reading a blaring white screen for hours on end is not
Well,
preferable.
you get a headache because you try to read and you're a Dragon Ball fan, so you can't.
Yeah, I'm too dumb to read,
You
so
strain your brain.
that's why it's taken me 12 years to write a book because I'm illiterate. So that's why I have all these
You're
books
writing a
behind me.
book on what it feels like to be a Dragon Ball fan.
Yeah, the jury's still out. I second Yu Yu Hakusho as your favorite OG anime. Oh, yeah. Of course, you guys can hear the AC. Great. Yeah. Yu Yu Hakusho is
It's
pretty
weird
great.
because I totally cannot.
Yeah, but everyone always tells me that my audio isn't great.
It
So
must use like a different technology to do the sound, I guess. Like I don't know why I can't. Like Discord's not picking it up either, so I don't understand.
what the fuck? Thoughts on the theory that Breaking Bad is based on the Namek saga in Dragon Ball?
I think I've also thought that though too. So I don't think it's really a theory. I think that's just what it is. I'll be completely honest with you. I mean, what can you really say to refute it?
I mean, the main character is bald, like the Namekians.
And Krillin, who's a major character.
He makes meth, which distorts your reality, kind of like the Dragon Balls. The main villain is someone who doesn't like the main character.
Frieza is like such a recurring villain now that he is like the main villain of the series
I
at
mean,
this
he's
point.
basically become the
In a
Munra or
weird way.
Skeletor of Dragon Ball.
Exactly.
He just comes
Which
back.
I'm okay with.
Eh. How about we have a new series about Gohan? It's just called Dragon Ball Gohan, and it's all about Gohan like studying insects. Every episode, he goes on a new Indiana Jones style adventure to find
Yeah.
insects. And then he encounters people who have strange powers that Ki doesn't work on, so he has to learn a whole new power set. And then he has to, team up with new people, and then maybe Piccolo could be there too, just because people like Piccolo, I guess. Or Piccolo can have his own story. He just goes to Namek and he learns all about his history, and he fights evil, ancient Namekian demons
How do
who.
you go from being green to being orange?
I can't hear you over my air conditioning.
What?
Who? Frieza is the Team Rocket of Dragon Ball. I guess so. He's always blasting off again.
It's weird how that happened, right?
I mean,
Because like for so long he came back once in the Cell Saga, and then
yeah.
like yeah, you'd see him again in filler
Hmm.
in GT, but other and he was reborn. He was revived in that,
Yeah, and
but
then the Boo Saga.
yeah. But other than that, he was done after Trunks killed him. You didn't see him again in the mainline series, in the manga. It's just weird how he came back in the movie Resurrection F, and then kept recurring. I'm okay with it though because I fucking love Frieza, and I think I love Frieza more as a character the more he's been in the series.
Yeah,
Like
I
him
mean,
being in the Turn of Power was such a fucking good move. I think.
yeah, I mean, the self fanboy in me wanted that, but either way, Frieza, like, it made more sense to have Frieza because he had
Right,
already
it
come
actually
back.
made sense in
Yeah,
a
for
weird way.
once. And the thing is, like,
That
he
would
was
not have
really
made
good in
sense.
that arc. Like, that's the thing. Like, there definitely are positives to things that they do in Super. Like, they took the
It's
shitty
good
movie
character
like
things for
Resurrection
him
F
too.
and they made Frieza
Sure.
actually better. So with
Yeah.
the new with Tournament to Power. The movies they made Broly better, obviously, because I hated him before. I enjoy him, and they made Gohan Piccolo better because now they're
Oh,
relevant again. So there's that.
I think if they want to make characters more relevant, they gotta make them orange.
I mean, yeah, definitely Majin Buu would have been good in the Tournament to Power, but then they could just not had Krillin or Tien be there, or
I think I did a video on this, but I think Frieza was the better choice than Boo. Boo
well,
would have been
yeah.
awesome,
The idea is that they could have
but
had both.
dialogue wise, it would have been way less interesting. Like the moral arc does a lot of cool stuff with Boo for
Yeah,
the most part.
like the whole
Um,
Dai Kaioshin thing.
yeah, like there's some really cool and not that out of place callbacks. There's some weird things here and there, but there's a lot of really cool callbacks in that whole fucking.
Yeah, I really there's a lot of that arc I really enjoyed. I just hate the ending with a passion. But I mean there were things even along the way I didn't really like, like the fact that they kept making Goku's characters seem a lot more simplistic than it really is. Like, oh
Right.
Goku, you've never changed since day one, and oh Goku, all you care about is fighting strong
Which
guys. You don't care
obviously it's
about
not true.
morality or anything, which is
I
total
think
bullshit.
Goku talking about they should have worded it a better way.
Yeah.
But I think the whole thing of Goku just wanting to fight, it's true, but he is a good person. He wouldn't just fight good people
Yeah.
and just beat them down. But he does enjoy the fight. That's why he is so lenient on a lot of his adversaries.
Hmm.
But I think they should have worded it better. They had the right idea, but Goku is driven by justice in some sense.
Yeah.
That's
There
why
there
he
are plenty of
calls
times in the
guys like
series that
Goku
we
you
could reference.
scumbag or you stupid fuck.
Yeah, there are plenty of times in the series we can reference that Goku is not just fighting for the thrill of the fight. He's not just fighting Frieza because he wants to. He did want to fight him when he heard of how strong he was, but then he fights him for Namek, for everyone he killed, for the Saiyans, for the pride of Vegeta, for all those things. He fights them. He fights the androids because he wants to stop them from killing him and his friends and all these other people. He wanted the thrill of that fight, which is part of why he didn't wish to find the laboratory and kill them beforehand, but he still was
Right.
doing it. I made a whole video about this. People I have probably seen it, but Goku does so many other things throughout the series that are not just because I want to fight strong guys. I'm generic anime main character. Like Super just dumbs him down so fucking much. It's insulting because
You know,
it's like people act like I'm not a Goku fan when I really enjoyed his character for a lot of the original run of the series, and I only feel like it's at in the Buu saga when Goku really is kind of like played out. Yeah, that are you gonna drink that whole bottle tonight, Josh?
well, I got it on Friday,
Oh,
so
okay.
I've been drinking the last couple nights.
It's rookie drinks. You gotta get those numbers up.
I also bought Yukon Jack, but that's all gone.
What's that?
That's 100 proof whiskey, 100 honey whiskey.
Oh, okay. I'm
Uh,
gonna be drinking
now I'm
plenty
starting
when
to
I'm in
slur a bit.
Vegas
Hold
next
on, let me
week. That's
catch
gonna
my
be
breath.
fun. I gotta get one of those yard drinks. I got one of those
Yep.
when I was in Puerto
Hey,
Rico. It was
if
pretty
Joe
good.
Rogan can drink and smoke on his podcast, then there's no reason we can't.
I never said you can't. Well, I
And
mean,
no
we
one
were
else ever said I couldn't.
hitting our vapes last week. Nobody cared. Nobody cares.
Vape, this is a lighter.
I mean, our vapes were totally, fully legal tobacco. Or wait, is tobacco banned? They were air.
Tobacco is the one that smells like the skunk, right?
Yeah, it smells like you know a 10 mile radius around my house, pretty much all times of the day,
That's good.
every day.
Very good. Very excellent.
So yeah, it seems like most people don't like She-Hulk, which thank God, because I don't understand how most people could. The Game of Thrones show is pretty good. Lord of the Rings show so far is mediocre and at times really boring and unengaging, even though they spent $1 billion on it. Everything so far with Elrond and Celebrimbor is interesting, with the whole leading up to the making of the rings and everything. That's cool, I guess. There's like the dwarves they visit and stuff. That was interesting. Almost expected them to ruin the dwarves, but they're kind of like out of the movie, so that was good. But everything else is really mediocre and generic right now. Honestly, most of the series feels like the first two episodes, like they basically just have a generic fantasy story with Lord of the Rings characters in it, or like a Lord of the Rings brand slapped over it, because it doesn't really feel anywhere near as epic or interesting or well written as even like the Hobbit movies sometimes. Even though I only really liked the first Hobbit movie, but
I agree.
yeah, the a lot of
I didn't
people
see
don't
all
even
three
like
though.
that one.
I think the first one's fun.
Yeah, the first one's like really close to the book, so I really like that. But
Those old '70s cartoon animated films though are like goat,
yeah,
fucking like iconic. Like when there's a whip, there's a way. There's so many
yeah.
great songs. I love it.
There are
I love how
definitely certain
goofy it is.
songs from the book that they would never be able to adapt today, just because some of the language has changed. Kind of think of like the Flintstones theme song. You know what I mean? Like certain
Yeah,
words have changed meaning totally since back
have a
when
gay
Tolkien
old
wrote that.
time.
Yeah, that's one of them. Tolkien uses a different word that begins with F nowadays that he puts in a lot of his songs from the first Hobbit book that was a reference to Bundle of Sticks at the time. And nowadays, if you put that in a movie, you would get like a NA or whatever, like the maximum rating is, because and then you'd get canceled immediately. So,
This person used a word that we changed.
as someone who hasn't seen the Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, should I watch the Hobbit first? No, it's like Star Wars. You should watch in release order. There's a lot of references to things in Lord of the Rings, and plus the technology gets better as it goes on.
I
It'd be
think
like watching the prequels and then the original trilogy for the first time. Everything, is like such a big shift that you'd be like, what the fuck? Why does everything look so old and different? I mean, a lot of the practical effects are way better than the prequels, but still.
I think the best way to experience the series is by playing the Return of the King game on GameCube. That's the first thing I would do.
Yeah.
That was a good game. It was like a fucking it was like a weird, it wasn't like Diablo exactly, but it was like a weird like action top down RPG kind of thing. It was pretty cool.
I mean, to be fair, I do recommend everyone reads the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings books.
If you can, I know
Yeah.
everyone's rejecting.
I mean, I know that people don't really like to read anymore. You could just do audiobooks. That's eventually I like that's the thing. Like, it sucks being a guy who's trying to write a book series because I don't know if anyone's gonna even read it nowadays. But like, at least I could do an audiobook. I mean, I basically talk for a living anyway, so maybe somebody's gonna want to listen to my droning monotone voice for like 500 pages as I talk about written by Mike Warren, Chapter 1. The beginning. A very generic title.
Prologue.
Prologue. There was once a man from Nantucket. He came to a town and said, fuck it. He went to his horse. I'm not going to finish that joke, but I'm sure you understand what ends up in that bucket.
Hey,
Yes, it was definitely hay. It wasn't anything that a horse produces. I don't know who came up with that joke, but they clearly had a lot of time on their hands. Uh, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I told you guys I'm working on projects, and naturally the audience is not as interested anymore in the stream. But I will announce this for people in the future. That's blacker than my soul, Josh.
Motor oil.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, basically.
What
But yeah, I am working on
it tastes like.
projects. I've been working on a book series since before I did YouTube, and I'm still working on it. I take about as long as George R. R. Martin to put out one book. So if I finish this book and then you're wondering 5 years later where the fuck's the next book, Mike, I'm so tired of waiting. Just clip this in the future and play this in my video in all the videos, Mike Defenders, that may exist at that point for some reason, because I write really slowly. And also, I've been writing all the books simultaneously too, because unlike Toriyama, I don't write by the seat of my pants. I just make YouTube by the seat of my pants. What are
I'm
you?
writing.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention at the beginning, so hopefully it wasn't any sort of thing that'll get me canceled. But then
No, I
again,
was writing. I was
okay,
writing in the air. You said you write very slowly, so I went, yeah. I actually signed my name. I went.
I wonder if anyone could make that out. It was actually mirrored, so you could actually see me writing in the correct order from right to left. Like the manga. I know that. I said it wrong, people. You don't have to worry about that. This stream has been a lot different than I was expecting. It was a lot less focused.
You didn't think they'd be focused? I said, like, hey, we should drink for this stream.
I did other things that are legal in the state of. I'm not going to admit where I live.
I feel like I'm the one here who was drinking.
I got a drink. I told you that.
Hmm.
I don't want to get
That's
too wasted because then I have to get wasted on the plane and then I have to get wasted in Vegas. I'm
yeah.
already going to be staying up for over
You gotta
24
do stuff.
hours.
Right? You gotta do something. You shouldn't have even been streaming this week.
I wanted to keep up the consistency. You do something, you gotta do something more than once to get a trend going. I knew if I didn't stream, I wouldn't be streaming again, so I just gotta nail that shit down. I might stream this week too on
Garter
my
Trace
own.
has put something in the chat that I feel like I've said many times, and I'm glad that someone else has said this. You're only canceled if you allow yourself to be. It's true.
Yeah,
You
I
know how
mean,
many things that's true for? How many bad things in your life that can happen that only happen if you allow it to happen to yourself? How many people can manipulate you? It only happens if you allow it to happen. So don't be a little bitch and don't fucking cower in fear
yeah,
at the face of adversity.
yeah. It is kind of funny that
Thanks, Garter Trace.
a lot of the people doing the canceling are the ones
Yeah.
who themselves are causing the adversity in people's lives by canceling them. It's conundrumatic, if you will. That's a word I just invented. Patent pending. And yeah, I don't really care. Um, you know, I just I just like Iron Maiden and Grand Theft Auto
Mhm.
5 and
And what's the other one?
Lamp.
Those two, it looks like.
I love Lamp. What? So I
There are
have
two more posters next to
okay.
GTA.
So I got Twilight Princess right here, the original poster that came out in Nintendo Power. I had that for like 20 years. I got kind of Wind Waker esque one that nobody can ever see because this stupid light that's so bright in here. I have
There's a light?
yeah.
Your
I know
room
you
looks as
can't
dark as
tell.
mine.
I know I'm so white that I reflect light naturally. So like there usually doesn't seem like there's a light source near me other than my translucent skin. But here's Super Mario Kart the original with the original cartridge from when I was a kid that's on there. Here's Super Mario World with the original cartridge. Here's my awesome guitar.
Yeah, Mario Kart started with 64 though. No one played the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
play with this
sorry.
very Super Nintendo right here. which also has my Pokemon Yellow in it. In the
The N60 Mario Kart
yeah,
64 was
here's
the
an
start.
N64 that has Diddy Kong Racing in it. Speaking of kart racing games, that was pretty awesome. Here's my Wii U. It was an overpriced doorstop that I used for Netflix for years, which is the reason why I didn't buy a Switch until last year. And
It was a cool piece of tech though. That Wii U.
yeah,
They
these
did not utilize it good.
no, they didn't. What system do you play GTA 5 on? Josh plays on the Xbox One X, and I play on the
That's incorrect, Michael.
PC Mustard Rice.
I've played it on the 360. I pre-ordered it. I have a poster to
Yeah,
prove
me
it.
too. That's where I got this. Yours is just flipped around. You got
Oh
the
yeah,
Franklin Michael one,
I do.
but I have the same
I'm
poster,
looking at
just
it.
the other way.
Yeah, I remember the girl I was seeing at the time ripped it on the corner. She was a real bitch. 360, and honestly, a 360 game in 2013, it felt almost next gen back then, really, in a weird way. Like it was so advanced. But I also bought on the Xbox One, and then I bought it on the Series X, like a chump. But it has a really nice new motion blur effect
Yeah, it was totally worth
and,
the $60 for that
and
motion
ray
blur.
trace shadows, and that's about it. But it looks really nice.
Did you get on the PC?
It's still a good looking game, honestly. It's crazy.
What's the anime on the poster? Which poster? I got this Yu Yu Hakusho one.
It's the Iron Maiden poster.
Oh,
Eddie, the anime.
I got these posters at Kamehacon. I hate this mirroring shit. The Goku one, which was done by Wiz Yakuza, and this one, which was basically just copied and pasted from Fighters, which I think there was a controversy about that. Um,
Oh,
and then I got, my movies, my signed poster
you could get
of,
canceled for that.
yeah, my signed poster or autographed picture of a hometown wrestler. I'm not going to name. Let's see, Iron Maiden. That's a pretty cool
Iron.
poster. I actually have had that since I was a
How did
kid
Norm
too.
Macdonald say Iron?
Yeah, Iron Maiden. And here's my monitor for Inception. And here's my Pocket Monster collection at the moment. Well, some of them. Pocket Monsters and Yu-Gi-Ohs.
Pocket Tool
And then
Monster.
whatever this thing is right here. I forget what this is called. Ashura or something. So I got plenty of like
I'm sure
old
a lot
school
of girls
cards.
have seen this room.
It's my Jack
Hey,
Nicholson.
I have a huge Dragon Ball collection, and I've had plenty of ones.
Yeah, good for you, Josh. We can't all be players like you.
Well, when they complain about it, you just tell them they're being ridiculous, and it's just inanimate objects, and do you know.
Yeah. It's fine that they can get rocks that come out of the ground that cost thousands of dollars, but you can't get a cool piece of art that looks good in an office.
Hmm.
I mean, does it look good though? Who knows? What's the anime on the poster? The one on the right. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? A swipe? Fucking snot bag?
Nah, he might take that seriously, Josh. Well,
Yeah,
we don't want to lose one of our
that might
viewers.
be a derogatory term. Snot bag.
I honestly don't know which poster you're talking about. There's Yu Yu Hakusho's the blue one. There's Dragon Ball, an Iron Maiden,
Iron.
GTA, two Zelda ones, Mario, Pokemon, Pokemon. Yeah, I know that was very close. I'm
I know.
sorry that you can look at my Chad, perfectly chiseled jaw line right now, and my awesome eyebrows, and my
You look
manly
like
beard.
you look like who's that one guy? You remind me a lot of Ted Bundy.
I mean, he was a good-looking guy though, so maybe I should take that as a compliment, right?
It said John Wayne Gacy.
My supervisor compares me to serial killers all the time, so that must be a compliment, right?
Very nice. Very. Uh, very cool, Michael.
Very, wait,
Very cool. Wait,
very
wait.
cool.
Very cool.
I wish I had something left
Wait, hold
over.
on. Actually, wait. Very cool.
Very cool. Should have worn my. It's right next to GTA 5
Yeah.
poster. I think you're talking about my Iron Maiden poster.
Yeah, the anime.
That's Iron Maiden. I fucking hate.
It's Bleach.
I'm trying so hard to point to this right now. Iron Maiden,
Darius Williams. It's
and
Bleach.
then Zelda,
Next to the GTA poster. So what's in the middle of that and
Twilight
what's that
Princess.
small one? That's Zelda. It's Twilight Princess. I can tell from the outline. I can tell.
You could tell people were paying attention when I just literally described everything in my room.
Yeah, I wasn't. Ugh.
Yeah. So I'm getting ready
Gotta
for
stay
this.
dehydrated, right, Mike?
Yeah, I know. I got this right here, this right here, this right here.
What time do you gotta fly?
Like 6 in the morning.
Oh my god, go to bed.
I doubt I'm gonna sleep tonight.
Wait, how far is the airport from your house?
Like an hour, hour and a half.
So you gotta get up at like what, 4 to get ready? 4:30?
Nah, I'm gonna leave at like 3:30 maybe.
Jesus
So
Christ.
I'm probably not
Mike,
even gonna sleep.
Mike,
I
go to
haven't even
bed.
eaten dinner yet.
Mike, go to bed and eat breakfast on the way.
No,
The breakfast will actually help wake you up, so I would wait. I would
I'll eat
fast.
breakfast when I'm there because it's a 3 hour time difference. So it's gonna be like
Well,
eight,
what?
8 when I get there. And I'm not even
Get
gonna be able to
fucking
go to
like,
my room for like hours. I'm
you know what always
probably
fucking
gonna get
wakes me up?
trashed the second I get there.
What always wakes me
Just
up
kidding.
is sausage and cheese biscuit
I want to
from
get In and Out.
McDonald's.
Never had In and Out. I want to get that
Oh
one
my
there.
god. Freeze some for me.
Yeah, I'll
No,
send it.
I would I would love to eat that though. That would be great. I'd have that fresh obviously, but I would love the opportunity.
Yeah, everyone likes
I
some
just
In
never
and
take
Out, right?
vacations. I never take vacations. My problem.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't taken a vacation in years. This is
I've
weird.
never since I was a little kid.
I'm gonna do my best not to work, Leah. Don't worry. If for whatever reason you've watched this far in the video or you've watched this video at all, hi. How's it going? But yeah, anyway, with that being said, is there anything you wanted to talk about, Josh?
No.
I mean, it is Laughingstock Nation, so that means that, it shouldn't just be me rambling for about 2 hours.
Nobody's here for me.
It does have Nation in the name, Josh.
You know people won't read titles past the first word.
Yeah, they're too angry looking at the thumbnail of She-Hulk twerking, which I I
Right.
I don't know if it was ridiculous enough. I wanted to make the most ridiculous thumbnail I could, so I also put the Spongebob my eyes. I was gonna put like 5 arrows pointing directly to her butt
Am I
too.
ugly?
You?
That's from that episode.
Of what? Oh
Uh
yeah,
oh.
my eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. He thought he was ugly, but his breath stunk because he had onions.
yeah. It was. Look at him! Look at him!
Yep.
Is that Patrick Warburton who does Patrick?
No.
Who does his voice again? I don't remember.
That the first like 3 seasons of SpongeBob are legendary.
Huh?
The first 3 seasons of SpongeBob are absolutely legendary.
Yeah, it's like The Simpsons. Like the first so many seasons are great, and then it just never stopped and just got worse as it went along. I mean, I haven't
Mhm.
seen it in like 10 years, but I used to. I mean, the fact that I was in my
The
20s
movie was
watching these
great.
shows and I still enjoyed them, when they were supposedly made for kids, goes to show you how good they were at one
Yeah,
point.
it's actually exactly like Simpsons because after the movie came out for SpongeBob, like '05, I think that really went downhill.
I read the chat
Same
the
with
wrong time.
Simpsons, like '07.
No, I
Like
agree.
Simpsons had a great run,
For me, The
like
Simpsons really
20
stopped.
years, right?
Yeah, I don't know. The Simpsons. I rewatched all the classic episodes recently, and The Simpsons for me really just start going downhill with like season 10. Like it wasn't bad yet, but like right when they get that New York episode for me is like the first episode for me that just isn't funny at all. And that is where an issue starts. It just, I mean, they stopped showing it for years on TV because of like 9/11 stuff like that, but like, and Homer like runs back and forth between the twin towers, but just the whole episode just feels so out of place that I just never enjoyed it. And then the Principal Skinner one with like, oh, by the way, he's the fake Principal Skinner. It's actually this guy, and that's like, let's
Right.
pretend this never happened, and
Yep.
it just keeps going down from there. By the time it gets to like the Tony Hawk episode and like the 200th episode, whatever it is, it's just unwatchable almost. And every time I try and go back, I just can't do it. The most I could do is like a Treehouse of Horror episode, and I maybe smirk like once the entire episode. A lot of the voices don't really work either, like anymore, like Marge especially. Like the same voice actress used to do Marge and the two sisters, but now
Only.
she sounds just like the sisters. She doesn't even sound like Marge anymore. She sounds like she
Oh,
smokes
really?
like 20
I haven't
cigarettes a
picked up
day.
on that, but I haven't watched it all recently.
Huh? Oh yeah, I have. I've gone back and tried, and I just love that show. So it's like same thing with Dragon Ball Super. Like I'm sure I'll watch the new show when it comes back. It's just I don't have any expectations. Like if it's made by the people who made the movies, then maybe it'll be great. But then again, I worry that's gonna be an all CGI, and then that's gonna be concerning to me too, because I definitely don't want that. Thanks a lot, Dijon. I don't like mustard, but thank you.
Dijon mustard's pretty fucking good,
Yeah, somebody said that In and
but
Out is
I
really
think that's
overrated. I wouldn't know.
Dijon
I live on the East
because
Coast, so
Dijon mustard is with an I. Not an E.
I don't. I'm terrible pronouncing
I
names.
feel
Haven't
like
you
you're
guys seen
being
my channel?
racist right now.
Haven't you guys seen my channel? I'm definitely not the best person when it comes to pronouncing names. I think one time I pronounced it Dabura.
Deborah.
I was like in the middle of saying
Cyan.
I was in the middle of saying Dabra because I was trying to be a manga purist, and then I just said fuck it and said Deborah. So it sounded like
Deborah.
Dabura, and it's like people are sometimes I would like I'm gonna be honest, sometimes in videos I would purposely mispronounce things just to piss people off in the audience. Just because I would just always get those comments. So sometimes I would just purposely say things certain ways like the Japanese way or something just to see how people would comment. Like I would when I called him Dr. Garo that one time, even though that's the correct name and people hate when I use the correct names, I would just, I said Garrow, and then, like, I was like, I wonder what's going to happen when I leave this in.
Michael Giroux.
Yeah, I know. Usually for me, though, like, it's just whatever comes to mind. Like, also, sometimes, like, I think a word and it's not the same pronunciation.
Do
Like,
you spell
whenever I read
Frieza? Do
two
you
E's,
spell? Yeah. Do you?
never.
I think I have.
At points, I have on purpose, but never usually. I just do
You definitely put them in your tag.
I. Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I do misspellings in my tags and stuff, too.
You gotta. You have to.
Um, But
You're
yeah,
screwed up.
what was I gonna say?
Deborah.
Yeah, Dabura. And then at one point I was trying to be super super Japanese with my pronunciation. I was pronouncing Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter Kurapika, or like Kurapika. It's like when people call Krillin Kuradin, and it's like nobody says that. Like I appreciate some of the channels out there who only try and use the Japanese pronunciation. I appreciate it. You're using the real names of these characters. If they were real people, they'd be annoyed that people keep calling them the wrong name. I get it. But at the same time, some people do it to a fault,
Yeah.
to where it's like
Deborah.
they just have to force that pronunciation every single time, and they know that there's dubbies out there who are gonna get pissed off when they watch it. And it's like instead of just going with the flow a little bit and letting more people like not be turned off by their content, they're like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna just say it this way and fuck you if you disagree. Which again, I don't mind that mindset. That you're free to do whatever you want. I'm a very individualist person at heart, but at the same time, it's also kind of like I mean, when you get a certain reaction, it's kind of to be expected. You can't, go in, you can't walk into a crowd of Dragon Ball fans and say Superman wins, and then not expect, them to freak out and say Goku would beat him in the Saiyan saga. I've seen one episode of Superman the animated series where he got beat up by Lobo. You know, but yeah, like, I mean, if they just translate everything correctly in the original English dub, none of this would ever be an issue. It'd be non-issue. But we could say that about so many other things. Over 9,000, Saiyan instead of Saiyan.
Saiyajin.
Yeah, Saiyajin. I mean, yeah,
Hakushin.
yeah. I mean, some of those things, like, and then some of the things they didn't translate also ended up biting them in the ass because, like, they didn't translate Kami, which literally means God in Japanese, and he was the god of Earth because each planet
Mhm.
has a god. So, like, it makes perfect sense when we get into Super, and it's like, oh, here, or even like the Buu Saga, here's the divine hierarchy. There's gods of planets, gods of other dimensions, blah blah blah. And but then in English, it's like he's still called
Another thing that
Kami,
Moro
so
Arc did
nobody
good.
gets it, huh?
Another thing that Moro Arc. Sorry. Another thing that the Moro Arc did good was expanding on the angels, for sure.
Yeah, I mean it was a little contradictory with the whole you
A
can't
little
fight
bit.
anyone, and then like we never like I guess just using your power makes you fade, even though Whis has done that tons of times for training purposes, but
Right.
I don't know. It's like they were making it seem like just training at near Maris's
Good
full
ideas,
power
bad
would be.
execution.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like Toriyama was the opposite a lot of times. Sometimes he'd have just bad ideas or something that would sound terrible on paper. Like they're gonna fight these two
Like this last
teenagers.
movie.
Yeah, they're gonna fight these two teenage robots who are going to murder an old man who looks like Dr. Wily, and then there's like a giant cricket who's gonna come and eat them, and he's gonna turn into a fighter, and then he's gonna fight a 9-year-old boy who might be 11 depending upon the version, and then he's going to get blown up and vaporized, and then you know uh, that's the end. And that sounds horrible on paper, I'm sure. But when you actually watch it, it's the best arc of Dragon Ball, bar none.
I don't know. I like the Garlic Jr. saga.
Yeah, I rewatched that recently, and
It's pretty bad.
yeah, it just feels like a movie that
Kaioken
should have been a
Chichi.
movie. Yeah, it feels like they took a movie, they
Yeah,
stretched
that
the
actually
exact
was.
same budget over an entire arc, so it wasn't anywhere near as good as looking or like as good in terms of its layout or as good as Josh's internet connection today. And it could have been so much better, but it just ended up being not very good in retrospect. I used to love it when I was a kid because, I was really nostalgic. Like, I bought the VHSs at the store. The Garlic Jr. saga. Wow, this is something that's actually happening after where the show is right now on Toonami. This is so cool. And I really enjoyed it at the time. I thought Garlic Jr. being an immortal villain was really cool. And a lot of things like that. But overall, when it comes to the arc itself, not very good. And, you know, not to sound like a prude, but I'm not a huge fan of Marin. I mean, I like her character design. You guys saw that video I did with Kwame like 5 years ago. The what was it? The hottest girls in Dragon Ball or whatever. And she was obviously
Well,
on
she's a
both of our
bit too
lists.
overt.
She was what?
She's too overtly sexual,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you could do it.
obnoxious.
I mean, Bulma was a little. I don't know. Do you think that Bulma was more overt than anything with Marin in the new movie? Because I kind of, I just that scene of her bent over is still burnt into my brain.
Mm. I enjoyed it.
It's like she and Marin just fused off screen. I wish I could have watched that.
In the names of a Dokkan YouTuber, the truth. Uh, I would like to say that Bulma was a real mega milf in that movie. Mega milf mode. That's what she was.
She's gonna get hit by the wall so hard in the next year or two because I mean, have you seen
Well,
the end of
she
Z?
doesn't look too good in GT.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like at the end of Z, you can see that she's middle aged too, so she's
Doesn't
gonna
look
get
too
hit by
good in
that
that,
wall
yeah.
so hard. Maybe they'll
The wishes
explain
must
it
have
by
stopped
like
working.
maybe they'll explain it by Dr. Hedo with his new technology to improve her skin accidentally makes it wrinkly and that's why she looks
I
old.
I just still can't get past the fact that they put 18 yoga pants.
I'm sure Krillin really liked that. I didn't really care for how
And
they
made
kind.
Android 21's human form canon.
Yeah. Also, Android 16. I noticed this time, the second time, they actually do show him as the son. For some reason, I didn't see that the first time. I think I was too preoccupied reading the subtitles. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's cool that they have that in there. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of what they did with Krillin in the new movie. That scene of him jumping out of like the plane and like going down is really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's gonna go blast Cell Max, but I don't really like the fact that they kind of like neutered him again, where he's just like, I'm gonna stay back here and protect everyone. I'm afraid of everything. It's like, didn't we do this already? Shouldn't he be like more confident, more powerful now? And he literally was better in his performance than 18 was in the Tournament to Power, and yet I guess he's a weakling compared to her now again or something. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I did a whole video about Krillin. So yeah,
Well,
with that being said, everyone, I think we're gonna wrap it up tonight.
so you have to wake up at 3:30, man.
I
You
mean, assuming
can
I'm
you
going to
wrap
sleep.
this up so you can like not suffer?
Nah, I love suffering
Mike, you don't
apparently.
want to be going into the flight tired and then getting jet lagged afterwards. I know you can sleep on the flight, but how long's
No,
your
I
flight?
can't.
Like 4 hours, 5?
It's like 5 or 6 hours.
You're gonna want more sleep if you're gonna be jet lagged.
I'm not gonna sleep on the plane. I can't sleep on a
You're
plane
gonna be
anymore.
fucked up, Mike.
I'm
Just
gonna
get rest, man.
I'm
You're
gonna
gonna be
yeah.
so fucked up, dude.
I'm gonna get a drink on the plane, so maybe I will be
Take
able
an
to fall
edible.
asleep. Yeah, I mean it's possible. We'll
Take an
see.
edible and then fall asleep on a plane. Take a Xanax. Do a Joey Diaz move.
Take a star of death.
Take a Star of Death and then a Xanax.
I mean, I
Then
basically
drink a
have ones
shot of
comparable
tequila.
to that. I don't know. The last that huge one I did, like, or I hypothetically ingested a few weeks
This is
ago that
all
I told
act.
you about. It's all I'm straight edge, obviously. So that when I told you about basically just made me tired. So maybe I will I will take that
Yeah.
and just sleep on the plane. But we'll see.
So, Mike, before we close this off, I would like to say that I officially, probably 85% of the time, do not get ID'd at stores.
I'm not
I'm
surprised in the least by
26.
that,
I
Josh.
feel it makes you feel old.
I've actually been
Like,
ID'd recently.
did you
Then
feel
again,
good?
you've always looked older than me. If
I
I
have an
sh-
old face. It's
People
probably
always,
why.
people always think I'm in my like early to mid 20s.
Well, now I'm looking like I'm falling apart.
Like I answered the door I answered the door the other day for like a salesman. He's like, "Oh, is your parent home?" I was like, "You." He was
Mama
like, "You
home.
don't." He was like, "You don't look old enough to own a house." I was like,
Yeah.
"How old
I
do I
get
look
called
to
sir
you?"
a lot. It feels really strange.
Yeah,
I don't
I
like it. I don't like being called sir because guess what? I call people like I say, "What's up, man? How's it going, dude?" I say like super, almost surfer lingo in a weird way. I have my own like kind of like greeting system to strangers. Like I'm super casual with everyone. Pretty much put everyone on the same level, which is probably okay. It's okay to do. I think that's probably a good thing that I treat everyone the
yeah.
same.
That's how I am, and apparently I'm doing well with.
Like I hate everybody
I
equally.
hate you all equally.
Right?
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like like it's like at my job. I treat everyone like a peer. And never have any issues with it. Like
Never.
I'm always friendly with everyone I talk to. The people who run the company, doesn't matter. I get along with everyone for the most part because I treat them the way that I want to be treated. And maybe for some people they're a lot more formal than I am. Like I'm like Goku a little bit in that sense. I'll walk up to somebody, have like a normal conversation. I won't like let
Yep.
formalities and shit get in the way of that. I'll just sit
Exactly.
down and talk to people and just like have a normal conversation.
Formalities is such bullshit.
Yeah.
Like just go up there and fucking talk. Have a normal conversation. I've learned so much by just walking up to people and just having a normal conversation. Like the other day through my job, I know a lot of older people,
Hmm.
and I was talking to someone who just turned 79, and I just straight up asked them, like, how does it feel to be that age and be around for that long? Like, I just wanted to know, like, to just have that in the back of my head, to like know, like, what's that feeling to really be around for that? So I'm 26 and I feel like I've been around for a while sometimes. So I
Yeah.
can't imagine, tripling that. It's
Yeah,
it's
I've always
kind
got
of
along
absurd
well
to
with that
think about.
generation too. They just have a lot more wisdom to them, and
I think at that point you just have to, right?
they have more practical
Yeah, you got
experience.
yeah, you have the experience because you've been around for that long.
Yeah. I always, even when I was like a kid, I always got along really well with like my grandparents' generation. Like my parents' generation, not quite as much. I have my own mixed feelings about boomers, but when it comes to the generation before them, they were pretty cool. And yeah, I feel like the world is not in the best place since there are barely any of them left now. But it's always spiraling downward anyway. to
Well, let's
to
see how
leave
the
this on a
world
down
is in
note.
2065.
Don't worry, we'll all be dead by then.
Well, you'll be in your 70s. I'll be in my late 60s.
You assume the asteroid isn't coming next year and wiping us all out, or the
Right.
the
It's
solar
true.
flare.
How soon would they tell us about something like that? If they knew that there is no hope for stopping an asteroid, how long would they wait to tell us about our demise?
Yeah, it's like that movie Don't Look Up.
They would have to pick like what time would they tell us, right? Like how soon is too soon to tell us? How late? Like how much time do we give these people? Do we make people suffer? And let's say, hey, there's an asteroid coming in 3 fucking years and we cannot redirect it. Or do we wait and say, hey, this is your last week? That's a real
It would
fucking
kind of
thing to
suck
think
though,
about.
because the fact that obviously if you tell everyone that, they're gonna freak out and everything.
If
But
you tell everyone they got 3 years left, they're gonna be killing people.
yeah. It just would suck though, like if
I'm telling
you
you,
want to like
it's
do
absurd.
certain things and you only have a week left to live, it's like, well, I can't go here, I can't do this, I can't do that because it takes too fucking long for me to do it. So, like, you think that a pilot is really just gonna fly people on a commercial flight to like another country, that they've never been to? He's
Right?
probably gonna
I
go
didn't
home
think
and be
about
like, I'm
that.
just gonna stay here. So,
I
like,
think everything will be shut down.
all of our services, nobody would give a shit anymore because
I
we're all
think
gonna
everything
die.
would shut
So,
down. There would be some good-willed people that would sacrifice their precious time and their final days, but
yeah.
um, big companies would probably shut down. I would imagine, but there would be those certain people that would keep certain things running just because they know that people are going to rely on those services. But
Yeah.
it would be interesting. I'm sure lots of media that we've watched have thought about those outcomes.
Everyone would work on, I don't know, maybe some new type of technology to evacuate the planet and go to Mars, and then that would fail horribly.
I
And
think we
that's
should go to
basically,
Venus and get some acid rain.
yeah. And this is basically the plot of that movie Don't Look Up on Netflix that came out like
I haven't seen it.
6 months ago or something. It's like Idiocracy.
Never seen that either. I've heard about it, but never seen
It's
it.
pretty good. It's made by Mike Judge.
Man, I got pissed like a racehorse.
Yeah. But all right, everyone.
Good time.
This has been a lot. I feel like this has probably been a lot different from the first one, but I hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed this nonetheless. I had fun, and I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna eat some pizza, and I'm gonna get ready to go to Vegas tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna live stream while I'm in Vegas, just for
Yes, they
fun.
do YouTube shorts.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna.
should do a few shorts. If you do slot machines, Mike, seriously, I want to see shorts. I'm not fucking kidding. I want to see them.
I'm gonna
I
do,
want to see the slot machine shorts, Mike.
I'm definitely gonna do LSM live from Vegas or something. I mean, I'm surprised that we got as many people
How
today
long are
as
you
we
there
did.
for?
So I'm gonna be there from Monday to Friday. So I'm gonna have a
You're
lot of
working all
time to
those
do
days,
stuff.
but you'll be working too, right?
Huh?
Aren't you working too, though?
While I'm there? No. I'm gonna work on YouTube, but I'm not gonna. I'm taking the whole week off, so like
Right.
I get like a certain amount of time off
You're not
per
gonna have
week.
any calls or anything like that.
No, I mean, there are clients I have that live there. I could always like hang out with and do some business, but I'm trying to relax right now. We'll see. I
Yep.
know we gotta keep that work-life balance. So if anyone from my job's watching right now, I'm totally not gonna work when I'm on vacation because no one else at my job does that ever. Definitely. But yeah, we'll see.
Yep. And Garda Trey said good night to us both, which I appreciate.
Hey, thanks a lot. I
And two
appreciate you coming
separate
out.
messages,
Yeah,
which that is a extreme level of respect. So I appreciate that.
awesome. I mean, people
I
have
felt
respect for Josh. That's shocking, but I
that's
certainly
incredible
don't.
because I've never seen that before.
I don't respect you, Josh. I I was gonna like end it there, but then
Was
I
that the end?
realized no.
Oh,
I was gonna do like a awkward ending, but now it's not awkward enough